Hello, football family. Welcome into Huddle It Up Films. Big night tonight. Day one, NFL draft, football Christmas, new presents under the tree for maybe all 32 teams for the first time in history. All 32 teams have their picks ready for tonight. Unless there's been a trade in the last minute or so. But welcome into Huddle It Up Films. And we got our guys from the Purple Rain Gang joining us. Say hello, fellas. Introduce yourselves.
What's up? What's up? What's up?
Yeah, man, what's going on? What's going on? It's your boy Sutton Death and Simply AS10 from the Purple Rain podcast. Jason, first of all, I just want to give you a big shout out for having us on this episode of the show. We've actually never done this before, an actual collab stream. So we are actually live on the Purple Rain podcast YouTube channel as we speak. Jason is hosting. This is super cool. First time we've ever done this. Shout out to everybody here watching from PRP. This is our boy Jason. If you haven't checked him out before, he was on one of our episodes last week. But again, Jason, thank you so much for having us on.
Man, thank you. And hey, another guest, of course. Not even a guest, man. He is one of us, often helps me on the show. Mr. Alec Polianis, the hoagie master, the hoagie maker, the dad, the worker. He does a lot. Mr. Do It All, Ravens fan. Alec running in a little bit late, man, but we have 4+ hours tonight, 4+ hours tomorrow. So you have plenty of time to catch up.
Truly. I got on the stream with 24 seconds before we went live, and I was like, man, I wanted to be on here a few minutes early, tell you about the crazy day I just had, but we'll have to talk afterwards, maybe.
I mean, I probably, honestly, guys, I won't be in the mood to talk after this. It's going to be a lot of talking. a lot of talking. Hey, I see some Rain Gang regulars in the chat. Let's bring them up and say hello. Sutton Deaf, Alex, your guy, K-Dog, with the mod wrench right there. Let's effing go. Draft day. What's up, Rain Gang? K-Dog, man, thanks, bro. It is great to see you over here collabing, whether you're watching on Purple Rain Pod or Huddle It Up Films. Here we are. The draft is kind of my baby, so I'm kind of taking the reins a little bit tonight, but we're going to hear plenty from the Rain Gang. We're going to need everybody's contributions tonight with this long night. Also, Lisa Frankel, hi, Alec, and Sutton Deaf. I don't care who we get as long as we're happy. Hey, Jason, and we can add Alec into that now, too. Lisa, help me because I have Alex and Alec. So you're going to have to listen up closely, and I guarantee I'm going to mess it up. If there was a DraftKings over-under on that, I would take the over. Justin joining us. Let's go. Nick Scorton. I want Nick Scorton. Hey, possibility he goes in this first round. A lot of people are sleeping on Scorton. The big body change for him. He played 20 pounds heavier this year because the Texas A&M coaches asked him to. So he was a nice, fleet-footed edge rusher at Purdue, transfers to Texas A&M, was still able to rack up 5 sacks, but he had 10 the year before. It's a hard projection for Nick Scorton, guys, because anytime you add 20-some pounds in a transfer to the program, because the coaches asked you, not because you got lazy and fat and changed your body type. Alec, talk about that transition for Nick Scorton, and he's kind of a bowling ball off the edge.
Me? You want to talk about it?
Yeah, sure. Well, I mean, can you imagine how difficult it is to gain 20 pounds in one off season and come to a new program?
I mean, look, yeah, change your body like that is insane. Maybe, particularly when you're like a real, football player, you're trying to gain good weight, good mass, and do that. It's one thing to cut if you're overweight and maybe not working out, but that's a whole nother beast. Actually, they were talking about that on I think the Athletic Football Show. Like, it's so hard for you to do body transformations mid. Really out of college even. It's really hard to do a body transformation and to do that in the NFL level.
So you see Sut right there, Alex. He's an edge number 8 in this deep first round edge class for me. A lot of people have him higher, 36 overall. So what Justin's saying, could definitely sneak into that first round. Was asked to add weight, completely changed his body, and he is a hard charger off the end. He looked like a bowling ball coming off the edge for that A&M team at his body weight. Is back close to where he was at Purdue. I don't have the exact weight, of course, but when he checked in at the combine, he was back to 6'3", 257, kind of a more normal edge rusher size. My big thing with him, Justin, is the edge setting. I don't know if he was asked to just crash that edge and, not set the edge, set a firm edge and funnel back inside. It looked like he was asked to crash and the linebackers were asked to fill. But he's got to work on his run defense. But no doubt, with the 10 sacks in 2023, 5 sacks last year, guys, the Ravens, and I know, Sut, this is something you feel passionate about, could use an edge early on in this draft.
Yeah, no, I mean, absolutely. I told you yesterday, actually, in private, I said that, and I've actually said this multiple times on the Purple Rain podcast, is that, if the Ravens get out of the first 2 rounds of this draft without an edge rusher, my grade for this draft is automatically capped at like a D-, to be honest with you. I feel like the need for edge rusher is that serious. Now, what I was going to ask you about this guy, Nick Scorton, Jason, and Alec, feel free to chime in as well, and Alex too. But is this guy more of like a... So, I mean, I see 10 sacks in 2023, right? Would you say he leans more of like a production guy or more of like a traits guy, like characteristics?
I think it's hard to judge his traits just based on what he's going to look like. What he's looked like the last 2 seasons are completely different bodies. But I expect him to get back to that Purdue weight. I mean, he showed up at the combine ready to run and ready to perform. But 10 sacks is hard to get in a 12, 13 game season. So he has that production, and they said he's not the most patient player with edge setting. He is just a hard charging type of guy. So you have the production there, and at 6'3", 257, that's an NFL height and weight. A little shorter, but stouter. 33-inch arms. Not the longest guy, but you wouldn't call him short-armed either, Sut.
Nice, yeah.
So he's just one of many. We'll be having these slides come across the screen all night long. We also, of course, have the big board in its different forms. Those are the positional rankings. You see the people up top following along in those little emojis, the animal emojis up top. We'll expect more people to start filtering in. But the big board is in the descriptions, and we'll be taking names off the big board as the draft progresses. That's a look at the big board. As you can tell, it's kind of tough to see on the screen. But we will be updating it throughout. So feel free to have it open in another window and follow along. Wanted to get to some more people in here. JP Bugs, Jason from Russell Street Report. What a hiya. Man, JP, it's been great seeing you guys, seeing you specifically in these draft shows leading up and joining us tonight. That's awesome. Alec, what do you think of this guy right here?
Mr. Cosmonaut Project. Man, it's always good to see you, dude. I hope to see you again soon.
That's right, Cosmo, the music maker. So the intro that you guys heard, that's all Cosmo, and a little help from myself in there as well. So, and Lisa Ann. Okay, I got it. Prefer Lisa Ann. We got the Lisa Ann. Old friend of ours. Alec, you remember this guy? Our guy, Shrimp Trawler. Yeah, he follows our friend Ken as well. Greetings from Portland. Give me the unicorn, Eamon Worry. Alex, take it to you. I know you're familiar with Eamon Worry. How do you think he would fit in this draft, or if the Ravens drafted him on the Ravens team?
I've seen some people not be happy if we were to get him. I see it on the Twitter sphere. They want us to get that lineman, but if he's BPA there and the edge rushers aren't there and the lineman isn't there, I'm all for it. I love giving Zach Orr some more just tools to play with, and calling him a unicorn. I know unicorns like a once in kind of thing, but imagine having 2 unicorns on the defense. With Kyle Hamilton and Nick Worry. So I like what I saw from him out of college. I'd be happy if we were to get him, but that just means the board didn't fall the way that I would think it's going to. But if we got him, like I said here, go to one winning drive, my pitchfork and my torch, I'd be a happy man.
So Shrimp Trawler, I guess you've seen the board and you see it. I put Eamon Worry high, number 8 overall. And that started, it started out after the combine. I looked like I was pretty much in line with everybody else. I think other teams will want a Kyle Hamilton type player on their team. Seeing how Kyle affect games, Sutton, is like, why wouldn't someone else want a Kyle Hamilton type player, a big slot, a strong safety, and just a freak athlete? Like Kyle is much more agile, a much better pure football player than Eamon Worry. But when you're 6'3", 220, and running the 4.3s, he's just a ridiculous athlete. So, it comes down when I'm seeing these mock drafts, Sutton, that Eamon Worry's falling out of the first round. I stayed strong with my board. I'm leaving him where he is, but it kind of surprised me to see him falling out of these mock drafts.
Yeah, I mean, and I think the kind of general consensus right now between most Ravens fans, at least, is that if it's going to be a DB, it's probably going to be either Eamon Warrior or Malachi Starks. From what I've been hearing, Malachi Starks is actually a very, very strongly projected candidate to go to the Ravens tonight. So we'll see how that goes. But again, man, like you said, just having like the measurables and like that physical ability, that athleticism is going to be something that really would benefit Kyle Hamilton and make him a little bit more multiple. You can move him around the chessboard as Zach Ward would like to a little bit more. As we saw last year, I mean, Kyle Hamilton starting the season playing more so closer to the line of scrimmage, and we saw that be effective in spots. But when we backed him up and put him as a deep safety, he was able to kind of make quarterbacks second guess themselves a lot, and that was something that I noticed last season. And that's why our defense improved drastically after what was like week 10, I want to say, something like that. But yeah, Nick Eamon-Warrior, if we were to go ahead and draft him, I wouldn't hate it, right? But I probably wouldn't love it. Again, I would want the best player available at edge rusher at 27. I'm just going to say it. I'm not going to hate it if we pick up a Malachi Starks. I'm not going to hate it if we go for an Eamon-Warrior if he is best player available at the time. But again, I can't love it unless it's like a top tier in terms of irrelevant to this draft class edge rusher that we get in the first or maybe even the second round.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like when the Ravens have had Marcus Williams, say, and some of the traditional free safeties, those guys were at deep safety. You knew they were going to be at deep safety, and you knew Kyle was going to be any and everywhere on the field. If you pair Eamon-Warrior and Kyle, it adds another layer of unpredictability to me. Like, I see the vision. I think that's why, my Ravens board is my big board is Raven centric, but I see the vision for having someone runs a 4.38, patrolling that back end just fine. And when you want to use Kyle in there, he can do it as well. What you got, Simply? Titans up.
Browns are trading. The Browns are trading the pick to the Jags.
So Jags moved up to 2.
What?
The Jags on the clock now at 2. You know what?
No,
I'm not mad at that as a Ravens fan, but yes, the Jags now the number 2 pick. The Browns are trading the number 2 pick, a 4th round pick, and a 6th round pick. The Jags are trading number 5, their 2nd round pick, a 4th round pick, and their 2026 first round pick to the Browns.
Dang, that's crazy.
Go over that again, Alex, if you don't mind.
All right.
The
Bears are trading the number 2 pick, a 4th round pick, and a 6th round pick to the Jags. The Jags are
Browns are
5th round pick. The number 5 overall pick, a 2nd round pick, a 4th round pick, and next year's first round pick to the Browns.
Wow.
So
first
pick swap.
Where are you seeing it, by the way?
Mr.
They
Schefter.
they have the Jags on the clock. The Jags are on the clock.
Which stream are you guys watching?
I'm watching the NFL Network.
Me too.
Yeah, which is still behind. The NFL Network is still behind. It's like 5 minutes left on the Titans clock. It's showing me, but on Twitter, I'm like fully updated.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I would say maybe we should stay away from the old Twitter machine and just kind of watch.
No, I'm
okay. Cool.
Maybe
I mean, you dude, feel free to jump in. I just no, I don't want to spoil the picks for anybody that's watching on TV. That doesn't have Twitter. Yeah, we had that one year, and it was a little bit of a sketchy. People got upset that we were ruining the pick for them. But trade information, that was great. And the Jags are on the clock on TV, so you didn't ruin anything. That's perfect. That's a huge move. So they're moving up for Travis Hunter, I would imagine.
I would guess
Yeah,
so.
that's what I would assume.
That's
but before we get to
trade.
that, really quick, I mean, what do you guys feel about? I mean, we all expected it, but what do you guys feel about Cam Ward officially a Titan?
Yeah, we all expected it. Skill set is the only guy in this class, guys, with the quarterback one franchise changing type measurables. That doesn't mean that Shedeur can't do it. It doesn't mean that Jackson Dart can't do it. But when you're looking at the combination of arm and mobility, the ability to make plays off schedule, and we see how important that is. I mean, we're Ravens fans. So if somebody misses a block, the defensive coordinator calls a great coverage, your first and second read are taken away, all of a sudden you're rolling out. Cam Ward is a guy you want in those situations, can thrive in those situations and make the defense pay even when the defense wins early. So that's what separates him from other quarterbacks in the class. Like if you want to comp, it's just any quarterback you want to pick out from today's NFL who can make plays off schedule, with a big arm. That's pretty much what you're getting. He did put his team in some bad situations with some decision making, so he's got to clean it up, learn to be more of a pro quarterback. But he'll start for the Titans probably day one, I would imagine, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that now. What happens with Will Levis? I mean, I'm not saying he's, some scrub. I did like some things he did. We think he takes that back seat, or maybe somebody goes down, becomes trade bait. That's now I'm kind of looking at that situation now.
Yeah, what do you think, Alec? Could he be trade bait? Would anybody want Levis?
I mean, he has an incredible Mayo contract. I think it's something that a lot of teams will look into powerfully. I mean, I never really liked him as a prospect, but I could definitely see, you got your older quarterback go down, you don't got nothing behind him, you throw him some bones and they do the trade. It wouldn't. I mean, look, he could be a Steeler by the end of the night. They could try to tie their horse to that. Maybe they'll have a quarterback competition. They'll get the Mayo King. They'll trade like a 5th round pick for the Mayo King, and they'll have the guy they draft in the 3rd. Who knows? You think I'm being facetious, by the way? Like I could 100% see that happening. Like I don't know. They're kind of a franchise in turmoil right now.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if Shedeur falls in their lap because, from all accounts, and from Shedeur himself, the meeting with the Steelers stood out to him. And Shedeur famously in his interviews, if you read the piece from Tom Pelissero, Shedeur was in the interviews asking the questions. And I think that rubbed a lot of insecure franchises wrong. Why is he interviewing us? We're interviewing him. He's the player. But the Steelers like that. Shedeur came away impressed with the Steelers. Steelers came away impressed with Shedeur. So I wanted to bring up the APRO 1, 2, 3, Donovan, Ezraku, pick incoming tonight. Seems like a popular pick. Donovan, just a great player. Let's take Eben Wari off the screen here and bring up some Ezraku.
Real quick before we start talking about Ezraku, who would be a fun pick. One thing I wanted to bring up about Nick Scorton, right? He's number 59 on Dane's big board and gives him a 2nd round grade. So it wouldn't be crazy. Like there's a world where he might even fall to us in the 2nd, which could be a really interesting situation if they do go a different direction. Like let's say they go guard or they go D line or safety, they could still maybe get a guy. One of these. I mean, he's the number 12 edge on his board. I could imagine one of these edges being available. Him, Oladejo, we talked about. So I think there's a way in early day 2 for us to go edge as well if we don't get a guy with the first overall pick.
And Alex, you see these like runs on positions. We saw it in the Zay Flowers draft. What was it, like 4 wide receivers taken? So maybe Alec is right, and there's a run on edges, and then it just chills.
Yep.
Yeah. What was it? JSN, Quentin Johnson, Zay, and then Jordan Addison. I'm pretty sure if my memory.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I mean, if it were to happen, I hope it happens. Around us, we start it, or it happens right after us. But I hope we do get our guy. And there's always that run on one position, and it could be edge this year. I don't see it being receiver in first round. I'll be honest with you. I've seen, maybe 1 or 2 guaranteed guys go in the first. I saw a guy you like a lot, Jaden Higgins. He possibly could go in the first round tonight. I saw there's some murmurs about that, which would be pretty cool. But I kind of hope if it does happen, I hope we start it. I'll be honest with you. I don't want to go, early, in the 20s, early 20s. Now, I'm glad we brought this up, though. Do you think there's a scenario where we trade up tonight? I don't think we do, but I want to get, the roundtable discussion. Maybe it could happen. Does EDC do something different?
Sure. I mean, I think the rumored trade of Chargers and Ravens involving Mark Andrews is really interesting to me. I mean, I'm not over here wishing him away from our team or even saying that we have to trade him. But I could see movement happening. I mean, people are thinking that Owe might be on the block, which would be that would suck. I like Owe a lot. I mean, I think he's really finally progressed into the player we imagine he could be coming out of college. But the Ravens are astute. They know that they have a lot of guys coming up, and signing all of them might be difficult. And if they feel confident they can't sign all of them, if they can accrue more value than what the comp pick formula will give them, they might trade him away a year early. I find that tough since they're in this competitive window of like losing a year of their production because they're trying to garner more value. But if you think that the Ravens have a longer window than 2-3 years, it could be advantageous to try and, give yourself multiple higher quality opportunities than one high quality opportunity,
So the Jags are on the clock. They got somebody at the podium. We'll see how big this guy's ego is. When they get to the podium, sometimes it's a show, 5 minutes. One year though, I got caught. I said something rude. Well, I was like, "Hurry up!" and it ended up being like a Make-A-Wish kid or something like that. And then I felt horrible. That was on Ken's stream. Yeah, I'm like, "Oh no," because they put up the graphic. I'm like, "Man, this kid, come on, man, let's get on with it." It was like an hour into the show, so yeah, I felt like this small after that. But yeah, Jaguars are on the clock. Selection. Let's see who they pick coming up. And we got a very generous donation to get to as well that I want to shout out. But let's get this pick in first. Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter, Ashton Genty. It's going to be interesting to see what the Jags doing.
That's what I wanted to ask about, because my expectation is that Travis Hunter goes to the Jags. I think that's the entire reason why they traded up for that pick. And with the Browns now picking at 5, who do you think the Browns are going to select? It's anybody's guess, really. I saw somebody float in the chat. Maybe it's Ashton Genty, and welcoming him to the AFC North might be a thing in the next couple of minutes here. So what do you guys think happens there at 5?
Not sure. The Browns, Ashton Genty would be interesting because is Nick Chubb still a free agent? He's still out there, bro. Like, it's just kind of crazy. So the Jags did take Travis Hunter. If I'm Travis Hunter, I'm asking for a pay raise. I know it's a rookie scale. He can't. But I'm still going to ask for one because he's going to be playing 2 positions in 2 different countries. I mean, that's a lot of work. That's a lot of work. He's going to London.
So worldwide.
Play 2 ways and stay in London for, man, that's tough. So, hey, RJ Ori, this is the biggest donation I've ever had on my channel. Love you, RJ. Always appreciate you. Quiet guy, but does check in to see him in the comments sometimes. But $49.99. What do you guys say on the Purple Rain podcast?
Hey man, we always say, you're making it rain, man. You're making it rain.
No, that's sprinkling salt, right? Is that sprinkling salt? No, that's an itsy bitsy spider. Shouldn't do that. But yeah, that's amazing. Thank you for that. That kind of floors me. That's amazing. Awesome. Mr. Ori, I appreciate that, man. Any relation to Robert Ori, NBA star, Big Shot Bob? Ooh. Anybody remember Big Shot Bobby?
Yeah, I've actually always wondered that with RJ. He's been in our chat for a little while now, and I always kind of thought about, is there any sort of relation to Robert Ori? That'd be interesting. Let us know, RJ.
And for those of you who don't know, I think Sutton's going to be my guy. I don't know, but I will be transferring some funds, PayPaling Sutton and Alex. So not Alec though, he's a bum down there in the bottom corner. But no, I'll be sharing the wealth. So if anybody wants to super chat, believe me, I do this for fun. The guys here will back me up on that. No ads tonight on Huddle It Up Films. Also wanted to get to some more comments because they're coming in, and I just love it. O'Derry, it's our guy O'Derry. What's up, Jason and crew? And still, football is family. Love that, man. It always will be, O'Derry. Like, one of the things I loved about football and other sports growing up, and the reason it's the slogan on my channel is that you got rich kids, you got poor kids, you got kids from East Baltimore, West Baltimore, black, white, Hispanic, Asian, all coming together for one common goal. People from different friend groups, that, when you're a kid, you hang out with the kids in your neighborhood, maybe you fight with the kids in the other neighborhood, but when you're on the same team as kids, you're all fighting for one goal. And then the other part of football as family is watching the games with your parents or with your friends who you consider family. I've got an opportunity now to watch it with my own kids. I'm the old man in here. I'm almost 50. Don't let the good looks fool you. If I got close to the camera, I would scare you. But football is family. I've seen people say, "Oh, that's just, that's phony. That's marketing." Nah, man. Like for me, sports is family, but especially football. Man, when you put all that blood, sweat, tears, pain into a game and you're relying on so many people, that's like your brothers. Those are your brothers that you're fighting with every week and really, sacrificing your own physical pain for them. So soliloquy on the football is family, man. I just can't help myself, but something I feel very strongly about. We got Dr. Draft in the house. Dr. Draft is back. Terry Bulla pick is in. Yeah, it was Travis Hunter. I'm going to do my best with the comments tonight. I'm sure I'll bring plenty of them up. I'm no Sutton deaf, but I will get to them, believe me. And JP Bugs, 3/4 of those wide receivers hit as well. We're going back to the wide receiver conversation here. It would not surprise me, guys, and whoever wants to take this off. We talked about Jaden Higgins. I'm going to bring up his slide. You can't go wrong with taking a wide receiver because these guys make $30 million a year if you hit on them. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, positional value is a thing. If you don't draft an edge rusher like Sutton wants, then you're going to have to pay one, and they cost a lot of money. That means less free agent signings for your team. It's not our money, but the team has their budget. They're not going over their budget. So Jaden Higgins, Bateman hits free agency. Who knows what happens with Zay? Hopefully he's here for a long time. D-Hop gone after 1 year. You get a first round pick for 5 years. If you can get a guy like Jaden Higgins, who, in my opinion, simply said he was shooting up boards. He's been high on my board the whole time because he's got that X profile and he's a better player than Quentin Johnson. So it would not shock me if the Ravens went wide receiver early on in this draft just because of the positional value. If they do end up trading Andrews, more 11 personnel, more 3 wide receiver sets, and you got a guy for 5 years who could be, where other teams are paying big money to get a guy with his skill set, you got him on a rookie contract.
Yeah, I agree with you there. And you bring up Bateman. I know he has 2 more years left on his contract. I wonder if we're already engaging, maybe trying to extend him longer. I mean, I think he outplayed his contract last year, but you were healthy for the first time in your career, and we know what that potential is. So you bring up a good point. There could be another bit of turnaround as well. I see the Giants made their selection here. Abdul Carter from Penn State.
Thank you, Alex.
He is now going to the New York Giants.
Chalk so far.
I'll make sure. We'll talk about that real quick. I'm happy he's not in AFC North. But yeah, I mean, Jaden Higgins, I was watching him, like you said. He is saving the quarterback from interceptions. Some of the balls he was throwing, he can't believe he caught him. He was unbelievable, and I just love everything about him and the way he plays.
Yeah, hands. With one of my notes, I wrote hands down like 4 times in a row just because he's like bailing out the quarterback. He's making the spectacular catches, but he's also erasing the bad throws. And Alec, you know how big of a swing that is in the games when you take an interception away or you convert on a throw that should be incomplete.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's everything, honestly. The way you get behind the sticks, if you drop the ball, suddenly, instead of maybe getting a first down, you're in 3rd down and long. It's something that really does change the dynamic and drives. One of my number one trait in a pass catcher is their ability to catch the passes. And yeah, I mean, that's what I like Higgins a lot. I think he's going to be in that no man's land unless the Ravens trade back, where they probably aren't going to go with him in the first round. I mean, like you said, positional value is the thing, and I could understand it, but I think they'll probably not go for the first round because our guards are getting paid well. Honestly, a lot of these positions get paid well when they're a good one. So there's still a lot of positional value to be gained, and frankly, not to solely Jaden Higgins, but I don't know if he's going to be a $30 million guy. Maybe he will be with the inflation of the cap, but I think he's going to be a good wide receiver. I don't know if he'll be that good.
Yeah, if he hits, he's an X receiver, and he does it though. That's the thing. He's not a slot receiver. So, hey, and breaking news: are you related to Robert Ory? LOL. Yeah, that's
crazy,
my cousin.
RJ, that's crazy.
So I pronounced it correctly. Then it is Ory. It is Ory. Yeah, big shot Bob, man. I'm not too much of an NBA fan anymore, but it's hard not to remember Robert Ory. And the rings followed him. RJ. I mean, you can help me out with this, but didn't whatever team he signed with, he ended up winning a ring and hitting 3-pointers and big clutch shots for them. But that's really, really, really awesome. And one of my favorite people, always showing up steady, Mr. James in the chat. I'm here. Let's go Ravens. Mr. James, it's just great seeing your face, man. It's great seeing your face. I love when you comment on the highlight videos. I love when you comment on in the streams. It's just your steadying presence, my friend. I really, really appreciate that. And he says, RJ says, everybody always asks me that. That's so funny. Well, I mean, I don't know too many other Oris. Does anybody else know Ori?
No.
I honestly do not. No.
I don't. Yeah. So we're chalk through this draft so far. And, as we get more into it, there will be more analysis, better updates. But so far, no surprises. Cam Ward, Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter, all off the board. And now it's that fourth pick. The New England Patriots are expected to take a tackle. They're expected to take Will Campbell. So we'll see what happens there. John Tabor checking in. Wonder what the JJ value is on that trade. Alec, I don't know if you can help me out with it. I have my hands full, but I would expect that the Jags had to give up a little extra. Usually, if you're trying to get up to the number 2 pick, you're going to have to give a little bit more than what the trade chart says.
Yeah, I mean, I can tell you that that's almost definitely the truth, because even if you discount their first round pick into a second because it's a year off, it's probably clear. I'll get the numbers for you, because they have the second round pick this year, and I think that by itself is probably worth it. But I'll pull it up for you.
You got to throw in another first. So yeah. And then I'm going to kick this one to Sutton. Thoughts on Kayvon Thibodeau plus the 34th pick to the Ravens for 27? So we would trade back 7 spots and get Thibodeau.
Yeah, so that's interesting. I saw that in the chat. Obviously with the Giants just drafting Abdul Carter and them having what seems like is going to be their edge rusher of the future. Kayvon Thibodeau, a guy who's kind of been up and down with the Giants, maybe just needs that change of scenery, like somebody said in the chat here. I could totally see the Giants making a move and trading him, to the Ravens. So I think that would, I'm not going to say completely satisfy my edge rusher thirst, if you will. It wouldn't quench my it wouldn't quench my edge rusher thirst all the way. Like, I would still want a young guy who is not going to want to get paid anytime soon. You know what I mean? Like some young talent there. But I wouldn't hate it. I gotta admit, I would not hate that at all.
Me neither. The only thing that holds me back, Alex, is he's going to be a free agent just like Oweh. So it's like, you're not really, okay, you're plugging the hole for this year, but you're not really answering a long-term question.
Right.
So maybe that's why the itch wouldn't completely scratch your itch there. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah. I feel like we're replacing one problem with kind of like the exact same problem. But my fault, Alex. Go ahead.
Like, you're good. And I'm just looking at our edge rusher room now. There's a lot of turnaround there. Kyle Van Noy, free agent after this year. Oweh kind of up in the air now with the whole, we don't know if he's going to extend him, maybe trade him. Ojabo hasn't panned out to what we thought he would be. Tavius Robinson, thank you for bringing this up. You have Tavius Robinson there as well. Adisa Isaac, you really can't grade him after last year. Didn't play that much. So there could be a lot of turnaround here. I feel like you have to go edge, first or second round, or if you're trading for somebody, you need a little bit of team security there. So I'm not too sure what we do there. I wouldn't be mad if we double dip an edge. I feel like it has to be done if you're looking in the future of this edge rusher.
Yeah, just it feels like Ojabo's days aren't long. You're talking about the last year of a contract, and that's something a lot of fans overlook, but it's a declining value when you draft them. It's like driving a car off the lot. So Ojabo is not just his production this year, but you're only getting it for 1 year, much like Thibodeau. But like, to me, if we just throw another edge in this group, now all of a sudden, like, I'm sorry to talk about like day 3, you know what I mean? 4th round edge, 5th round edge. It's like, all right, well, we already got, Adisa Isaac and Tavius and Ojabo. Is that really moving the needle as a sack guy? I feel like if we go edge, we should go early in this draft. And when we did our exercise on Monday night with the perfect draft, a lot of people, it was Ezeraku. Like, people Ravens fans are thirsting for that pass rush.
Yeah. And when you mentioned Ezeraku on our show last week, I think Alex and I both in real time kind of fell in love with him, the way you were explaining him. So, that's a guy who, if he falls to the Ravens at 27, I would adore that pick, quite honestly. So we will see. Who do we have on the clock now? The Patriots.
Yeah, we're still waiting for Will Campbell if he comes through.
Yep.
And
then we have Cleveland, and that pick is going to be special. I can't wait for that one.
Yeah, Cleveland, you can't blame them for trading out, I guess. If they're like, well, we're not a Travis Hunter away from competing, and they pick up all those extra picks, maybe they're eyeing a quarterback. We'll see. Josiah, I feel like the Patriots are picking Genty or McMillan. So Josiah has called the the upset shot that he thinks that Will Campbell was just a smoke screen. Our guy Jason checking in. JP Bugs, hit the like button if you can, y'all. Yeah, hit the like button. So don't forget to do your thing, man. I am terrible at asking people to hit the like button. Used to have a co-host that did that for me. Austin, keep saying this. If Will Johnson somehow falls to the late teens, we have to move up to get him. That would be my dream day one pick. And we'll bring up the Will Johnson slide here shortly. But wanted to also give some love to Jessica Bass. Thank you so much for checking in, Jay. Love the green, Jay. Green, my favorite color. Although tonight it's all purple. It's all purple tonight. But yeah, let's bring up the Will Johnson slide because he is a tremendous prospect and a polarizing one at that. If anybody wants to chime in on old Will Johnson.
I'm not big on the lineman. I have to deflect this one.
Same.
He's a corner, by the way. He's a corner.
Corner?
That's the other one. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I thought we were talking about linemen.
That's all right.
Yeah.
And Will Campbell was just picked. Will Campbell was just picked.
Too many Wills.
Too many Wills. Too many Jadens. Too many Jadens.
Yeah. I can start it. I'll start it off. I did get to watch him in person. And it's crazy when you watch college. I've just recently started watching college like since 2021 a lot. And you can tell like there's definitely classes on these teams. And when I watched him, he definitely stood out compared to the other guys. I say I did watch him against Maryland, and I did watch him in obviously boys against men. I felt like, but even when he was out there, like I liked the way he played. And I saw he could go possibly second round. If he's there, man, at 27, I know we got Awuzie. I know we have Marlowe. I know we have Wiggins. You can never have enough defensive backs, especially now. Pickens, DK, Jamar T locked up. Judy up there with, I wouldn't hate it. I really wouldn't hate it. And the 6 interceptions in 2 seasons, we need more of that. We need a ball hawk out there. I think we lack turnover. It's something I know me and Sutton have been harping on about every single episode of Purple Rain. We need to get turnovers in the postseason. Like that's kind of the only missing thing now is you get one of them, we could be talking about, we make it further last year. So if he were to be there, oh boy. Not saying I'd be streaking around the neighborhood, but I will be happy.
Yeah, and all he was saying, maybe even trade up for a guy like this. And the 6 interceptions is impressive because it's not just 2 seasons; it's in 18 games. So basically, 1 NFL season. And when he was so good of a prospect that they really weren't trying to test him a lot. So I mean, 6 interceptions on not a lot of chances. The only problem for him is the foot injury. And you kind of question his speed on tape before the foot injury. Like he does everything great. Man coverage, zone coverage is just so smooth, fluid, pro ready. I think he started playing football at a really young age, got great coaching at a really young age. He is an NFL mover. He's got the size. You look at him, you're like, all right, well, the only question I have is his speed. Is he a 4.5 flat guy? Does he run into 4.4s? And then he had a foot injury. The speed question wasn't able to test. So now all of a sudden, this is a guy who would have been up there probably in the Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter conversation. Like might have gotten a true first round grade on my board, dropping off and falling off because of the foot injury.
I was watching the stream right here. They were interviewing Will Campbell. Sorry about that.
That's all right. I'm going to give a shout out to our, while we got time, Babasola. Oh, man, great seeing you back in. Babasola, very first time tuning into an NFL draft. Keep up the great work, guys. Hope you enjoy it. Look, it's a little bit of a slow night on day 1. A lot of commentary. Day 2, it picks up. Day 3 is lightning fast. The Apro, I'm going to be sick if the Browns get Genty. What do you guys think?
I won't be sick.
Yeah, I'm about to say. I would, but at the same time, I won't. I won't be sick. But yeah, man. I mean, the Browns, all I have to say is that the Browns are always going to brown, one way or another. Whether it's Ashton Genty, they select, whether it's whoever else, I just think that Travis Hunter was supposed to be their guy. Not saying that Travis Hunter was going to be the guy who literally turns around the franchise, but that's the guy who can help you on literally both sides of the football. And I feel like having like a generational talent, a generational athlete on the caliber of Travis Hunter would have been the way to go for them. But maybe them trading back maybe means that they're going to go. They like a quarterback at that. What was it? Pick 33, I want to say, is the next one they have. The first pick tomorrow. Or they have, 33. 33 is what I think they got. So we'll see. But I think they're on the clock now. Cleveland is.
I do. I have a couple things to bring up about the trades, if you want. So,
Sure.
Someone brought up, trading up into the late teens in order to get Williams. That would probably cost us next year's second round pick. It'd be an overpay if we gave him a second round pick, our second round pick this year. If we were, maybe you collect like what? I don't know, a third this year. So, you fall back from the late second to the late third. That'd be a reasonable opportunity maybe. But I don't know if I'd be willing to make that trade. I think there's so much depth in round like the second day. I don't really want to lose that pick. But that's just me. And also as far as the trade that we just saw with the Browns and the Jags, if you take out next year's first round pick from a JJ points perspective, it's 2,300 versus almost 2,700. So I would say, okay, there it is. Did you hear what the pick was?
Yep. Came across my screen. Mason Graham. So no Genty for them, no edge rusher for them, no wide receiver for them. They just go solid on the inside with some defensive line help. So they trade back and pick, I guess, what they think was the best player available.
And real quick, if I say, like what are you guys' thoughts on that? Like, do you think that it's a reach for them, or is this like the perfect place to pick a Mason Graham at 5 for the Browns?
I mean, for forever he was tracked to go at 5. Like it was even money in Vegas, which for the 5th pick, trying to predict 5 picks in and it being even money, like not some kind of long shot, just goes to show you how firmly he was penciled in at 5. But everybody thought that was for the Jags. So it's kind of interesting that they trade up for Travis Hunter. I kind of had a sneaking suspicion that it was going to be Genty, that Genty was gaining steam because the comeback of the running backs last year, and then add to the fact that if you just went and looked at who the better football player was at their position, there's no doubt it's Ashton Genty. So you got a renaissance of running backs. Genty's a better running back than Mason Graham is defensive lineman. They're both great players, don't get me wrong. But Genty's got that LaDainian Tomlinson type upside. So I thought that Genty might go to the Browns. I'm really being honest. If you got a quarterback situation you're not sure of, you're going to grab one day 2, maybe trade back up in the draft for one. It wouldn't have hurt to have a rookie quarterback and running back that could go together, especially depending on the style quarterback you got.
That's true. Now, we have the Raiders on the clock here, the Las Vegas Raiders. Obvious pick is obvious now, LB, right? I mean, they got their quarterback. They don't have that question. I don't know how much I trust Geno Smith, right now, but he is the Raiders quarterback. Is this Ashton Genty? They had Zamir White starting out last year, who I foolishly took in fantasy, and I deserved everything I got for his production. I think is it Genty now? I mean, it feels like this is the obvious pick.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it needs to be. I mean, if you ask me, it really is a no-brainer. I mean, Pete Carroll, he loves a run game, even historically. And like you said, they have their quarterback, kind of, sort of. So getting what could potentially be the home run running back of this draft, I think, is absolutely a no-brainer. And I think he definitely goes 6 here to the Raiders.
Yeah. Hey, our guy Hex is in here. Hex, are you the Trey Harris fan, Hex? Because I do have 2 Hexes that check in from Russia. Hi, guys. Hopefully EDC is cooking and we get a brand new O-lineman tonight. Now, see, I would be really, really happy if we got a no lineman. Just philosophically build the wall for Lamar, open the running lanes for Henry, have depth for Voorhees and competition for Lele and Voorhees. I feel like the only thing that can derail this team, other than the super obvious, is bad O-line play like it did in Buffalo. Ravens were able to overcome that, eventually get the running game going. But, man, to add insurance, we have 0 third tackle on the team. The only backup interior lineman we really have is Ben Cleveland. We have a backup center in Nick Samak, but yeah, if we went O lineman and added a stud on that side of the ball, I'd be really happy too, guys. That's my personal bias there. I know that a lot of people want edge rushers, including Sut, but yeah, I'd be like, have a wry smile, even if we just took a guard in round one and a stud guard, best guard in the class type thing.
Yeah. Would not hate that. And who do we have? Yeah, Raiders are still on the clock, I believe, according to NFL Network.
Just to fill up some airtime, I will tell this. I did put in a cheeky bet for Shador Sanders to go top 10. I have this dumb feeling he's going to be a Saint. It just makes sense to me.
I'm about to say that's your only
So I'm
shot. So
currently
it's
right. Yeah, I'm currently riding on that right now. So just want to put that out there.
That's
I put
true.
something in on Prize Picks. Let me see. What did I put in? It's like a little free thing that they had going on. Did last night. Let me see. So I did.
Yeah, I heard Deion say, I like these colors. And funnily enough, the Saints are the same as Colorado. So I'm like, you know what? Maybe it's there. But
Perhaps.
So Genty was announced as the pick. He was wearing black tonight, guys. So maybe he had an inkling he was going to Vegas.
Yeah, fair. I mean, I think that is the no-brainer. That's the perfect pick for them at that spot. Glad he is not in the AFC North. I'm very glad the Browns decided not to go ahead and draft him because, like you said, Jason, I think that Ashton Genty is a better running back than Mason Graham is in an IDL. So it's just from that perspective, the fact that we don't have to deal with a brand new Nick Chubb. I was there in 2019, the last time we lost a regular season game in that 2019 season at M&T Bank Stadium when the Browns waltzed in and Nick Chubb ran all over us, So having that guy again in the AFC North would be just kind of like the biggest headache. I don't know how much of a headache Mason Graham is going to be or how impactful he's going to be at interior D lineman. But yeah, I mean, Ashton Genty, no-brainer pick for the Raiders.
So Alex, you know this guy, K-Dog, Austin Henry, slip of the tongue there. Or is that a comparison?
No, it's unfortunately autocorrect, and when you get to a certain point in life, autocorrect just beats you up. And I get it. We've all been there. Meant to put Ashton Genty, and Apple thought something different. So we've all been there. I'll be honest.
So okay, I thought maybe he was saying they got their own Derrick Henry, So I was wondering if that was intentional or not.
No,
K-Dog, come on,
knows.
bro. You're supposed to lie, bro.
We don't compare anybody.
Okay, all right.
We don't compare anybody. The King, all right. The King is one of one. All right, we know that. We don't compare it.
So really quick, again, just to kind of fill up the airtime, I pulled up my little 3-leg parlay that Prize Picks had a promo for, right? I picked Travis Hunter to be picked before the third pick. That already came to fruition. I also have Shador Sanders over 11.5 draft position. So me and you, Alex, are at odds right now. You're picking them to go 9th. I'm picking them to go somewhere past 11. So we'll see how that unfolds here pretty soon. And then my third leg is I have over 1.5 attendees at the draft, physically at the draft, left undrafted tonight. So 2 guys that are at the draft, if they leave without a roster spot, then that'll hit. So we'll see. It really all comes down to that Shador Sanders one. That'll be very interesting to see if he goes 9, because if he doesn't go 9, I have a very, very strong feeling that he goes to the Pittsburgh Steelers at 21, which would be, man, that'd be interesting to say the least. So yeah, that's where I'm at.
Man, I like that bet a lot for you. I think a lot of NFL franchises are dumb, but sometimes not that dumb. And I don't think he's going top 12. Shador. It wouldn't even surprise me if he's not the second quarterback taken.
Yeah. We'll see. Hey, man, we got our guy Jason Z and yet another Jason to the chat. What's up, gentlemen? Ezraku is still on the board, so I'm good. It's great the Raiders will be able to run the ball, but they won't be able to cover anyone downfield as they have no corners. Hey, maybe Jason, Ashton Genty can help them beat the Chiefs. That would be nice. Get a nice surprise win in that division, or maybe we're competing with them for a number 1 seed. So yeah, maybe Ashton Genty can help, even though they can't cover anybody down there in Vegas.
They waived Jack Jones. Nate Hobbs went to the Packers. Mo Rig went to the Panthers. Yeah, who is in the secondary there? Not looking good.
Yeah, Nate Hobbs was a good player, slot corner. So you didn't get a lot of hype, but Nate Hobbs was a really good player. I mean, they could have had our guy Will Johnson or Jade Barron on the board, and of course, on the Huddled Up Films Ravens big board, Genty was faded because I didn't see any way the Ravens would take a running back in the first round. Just no way. So I faded him down the ranks. But for every running back that comes off the board, every quarterback that comes off the board, that's going to help us because we're not going running back. We're not going quarterback in the first round.
They're losing their minds at Ashton Genty's alma mater. The thing that's funny is it's such a Raiders pick to take like the cleavage of the draft. They love their fast guys. They love their stars. And look, man, like Genty's going to be great, but like they can't do so many fundamentals. I don't think they're going to win football games. Like homeboy is going to be 27 on the descent of his career by the time they have a team around him, and that's just going to be too bad.
Yeah, what do you think about the running back being the cherry on top theory? Like you need a offensive line quarterback,
it's accelerant, bro.
You need a quarterback.
It's like putting gasoline on a fire, but there's no fire. I mean, like Bowser's is great, but I don't know. I don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, I've always been a RB is more valuable than the PFF people think, because you just cannot convince me that somebody that touches the ball or a position that touches the ball 400 times a year doesn't mean anything. Like, yeah, you have to need to know line to be able to run the ball, but the actual person or group of people touching the ball 400 times, their talent means something too.
Yeah, I mean,
Alex brings them.
Yeah.
Sorry, real quick. He brings the speed. I think of Darius Hayward-Bay with the Raiders and just speed. Yep. Like, they love that speed, and they just said, "Yep, we're taking Hayward-Bay." You can go ahead, Sutton.
No, I mean, just talking about Ashton Genty real quick. Just a real quick side note. I know we're not really thinking about fantasy football right now at this specific moment, but I guarantee you Ashton Genty is going to be the hot running back of this year's fantasy football draft. Probably going to go top 10 to top 15, I would say, in most drafts.
For sure.
Just because, every single season there's the rookie running back that comes into a team that needs a running back, and he was really good in college. And Ashton Genty kind of seems like a unicorn right now, actually, compared to a lot of other highly touted running backs that came out in some of the more recent drafts. But we'll see how that unfolds. So we have on the clock the Jets on this one. Jason, where are you expecting the Jets to go with this one?
I mean, a lot of Tyler Warren tight end talk after they passed on Brock Bowers last year. They do have Justin Fields there. Quarterback maybe in play for them, but probably not now. We will see. There's still some quality players on the board. Armand Membu, my top lineman. I'm sure many teams have him as their top lineman, tackle, fluid mover, young player. I think he's still only 21 years old this year. Definitely an option for the Jets after they went Olu Fashanu last year. They could have bookend tackles in their first and second year to really help them, because, it's just with this Jets roster, I feel like they've had a good roster without the quarterback for a while, and just bad luck type franchise.
Yeah.
Their defense has been good. You know what I mean? It's just been overworked.
Right. So, I mean, like, what is the quarterback plan for them, I wonder?
I mean, Fields at least has the upside. Yeah, I see it at least. But you have great games, and then he throws games away.
Yeah.
But is that the answer you're counting on? And then, Alex, also think like the New York market and the desperation there to win, and Aaron Rodgers and show him up, like, it's just a different beast.
I'm not sure. I'm really not. I mean, Justin Fields is in year 5, and he was being treated as a gadget guy. They're bringing him on rookie Lamar plays last year. The Pittsburgh Steelers were so I'm really not too sure.
I was just going to say, so Membu was picked, so they did get the lineman there.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, but what I was thinking is that, in the fashion in which Aaron Rodgers departed from the New York Jets, kind of devastating for him. They just kind of let him know up front, like, hey, do you want to play football? Aaron Rodgers is like, I'm interested. And they're just immediately like, yeah, we're going to go in a different direction. You know, I guarantee you somebody in that franchise wanted Aaron Rodgers around for at least another year. You know, so with that being said, maybe majority ruled that Aaron Rodgers should go, but there was somebody in that franchise that wanted Aaron Rodgers to stay. So I think that the leash when it comes to Justin Fields could be a little bit short, right? There's going to be a lot of pressure on that organization. If Fields does struggle, especially early in the season, it's going to be a lot of pressure for them, I think, to pivot. I don't think that they're looking at Justin Fields as like their quarterback of the future, so much as they're looking at him as more of like a bridge quarterback, So, but we'll see how it unfolds.
So still a lot of talent left on the board. Obviously, here only 7 picks in. The Carolina Panthers are on the clock. Could this be a trade candidate? I'm not sure what a team would have to give up or which team it would be to get ahead of New Orleans, sitting there at 9. New Orleans, obviously, with the Derek Carr situation and his injury, and another team that just like, the rest of us are like, well, what are they doing? They're not close to winning. They're always over the cap. Why don't they just strip it down? And they continue to like push for 500 to try to scrimp out a weak division title there in the NFC South. But could some team like Carolina give up their pick to make sure New Orleans, their division rival, doesn't get their quarterback?
Says pick is in, so I guess they picked. But I mean, I'm telling you, man, I wouldn't be surprised if there was one quarterback take in the first round. I'm dead serious. Like, I really don't think. I mean, remember the NFL? I remember the draft was 2 years ago, the Pickett draft, and they're like, oh, like, maybe someone goes second, and then like he finally gets picked, and then Willis didn't go until the 3rd round or whatever it was. It's just I think NFL teams are getting a little smart about all this.
Yeah, that's a bad draft.
Yeah, the Malik Willis went in the 3rd round draft. That was an odd draft for quarterbacks too. And then last year, of course, 6 went, and they went pretty early.
Anybody watching the O's game or no? Just me.
I have it up right now on my phone.
Yeah, me too.
Didn't the O's get blown out yesterday by the Nats or something?
Yesterday was competitive.
Yesterday was one of those good losses, son. Good loss.
Yeah, Sunday was bad.
They're down to no. Never mind. I was about to say they were at 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th, but Bautista wasn't able to grab it off the ground. It's 2-1.
Okay, so close game.
My boy Cade got through 6. Love to see it.
Oh, Slim Shady.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, he was at 71 pitches in the 6th, and he finished it. Love that.
This was a point I want to bring up. Just wondering that if the Browns were going to go defense, why not just grab Carter at number 2? I mean, they got a haul, so I'm not gonna knock them for the haul that they got. But I wanted to bring this up just for the point that I would have much rather. I think it was on your guys' show when I said this. I would much rather the Browns have taken Travis Hunter than Abdul Carter at 2. Of course, they traded out. They get Mason Graham, so neither one of it happened. But like Abdul Carter with Myles Garrett would have made super sense, a lot of sense to me. You can only double team one. It's like, why not make your strength a super strength instead of drafting the do-it-all Travis Hunter? But I was on an island with that.
Yeah, I mean, he can impact Lamar the most, right? So that's kind of the thought there.
If this is Jalen Walker, it's just the consensus big board till now. Pretty much. Jalen Walker has been mocked to the Carolina Panthers. Interesting guy. Maybe we should bring actually, I'm not sure I have a slide to him because he's expected to go real early. But yeah, Jalen Walker, short, stout. He doesn't have the measurables for an edge. He's got the measurables for an off-ball linebacker, but he went to edge rusher, and it was just like the most impactful player on that Georgia defense, time in, time out. I mean, they had other great players there, but when you watch the Georgia tape, and I watched a ton of Georgia tape trying to watch other players who are playing against them, other players on their team. It was just Jalen Walker again and again and again popping up, making plays. His explosiveness has drawn him comparisons to Michael Parsons. So you got this short edge rusher, former inside linebacker. They put him on the edge. He looks unstoppable. So Jalen Walker, really good football player who just pops consistently. But do you draft an edge rusher that doesn't look like an edge rusher? Can you project that comfortably? Are you, willing to fall on your face and have to fall flat on your face and maybe have to move him back to linebacker if it doesn't work out rushing the passer? So we have a surprise pick. They did not go with Jalen Walker. Interesting. I'm gonna have to share this, man. I'm gonna have to share this because I do have a slide on this guy, someone I was higher than consensus on. So I'm happy to see him go. And it's our guy Tet McMillan.
I'm surprised. Yeah.
Weapon for Bryce Young. You can see some of the notes that I had on him. And if you want fun highlights, you go back to Tet McMillan's 2023 highlights. They are simply AS10 worthy. This guy's, bro, the ball disappears in his hand. I don't know, with his hands, eyes, regardless of that. It's just like soft mitts, former volleyball player. And he's able to high point the ball like nobody's business. What I think he got unfairly criticized for was his lack of, he's a big 6'4" receiver. He's not really a route runner. He can't really move. But he has enough lateral movement, as you can see in the last note there, to make the first guy miss. And I think he's got some route running upside there. Another part of his game that I really liked was that the quarterback was very scattered. I don't want to say scatterbrained, but the offensive itself was like dysfunctional. So Tet McMillan, a ton of plays off schedule where it was just like, I have no other option. Let's throw it up to Tet.
I wasn't expecting
love
that.
this for Bryce Young, man. Love this for Bryce Young. Who, I mean, and the Panthers, they actually came on a little bit strong. They showed some promise towards the end of last season. So adding in a Tet McMillan here, that star-powered wide receiver, there really is, their defense needs, but I don't know. I like this pick. I know it's a surprise, but again, I love it for Bryce Young. I think we're really going to get to see what his potential is with, a bona fide wide receiver one.
Who else is on their depth chart, guys? Remind me.
Thielen and Leggett, right?
Xavier Leggett from last year. Right. Okay.
Yeah. Everyone's favorite, undrafted free agent, Coker.
Ooh.
So that gives him two big targets. And Tedero McMillan, much more polished than Leggett. You see the production there at the top. 84 catches, 19 yards, and 8 touchdowns. And that was considered a down year, guys. That was a down year from 2023.
Wasn't this also the guy, Tet McMillan, who also said he doesn't watch film?
He did. He did say that.
Oh, God. That ain't going to last.
Now, apparently that was from years ago or taken out of context type thing, but he still said that. And he said he meant it. Like he said it with his chest.
He said with his chest.
He was getting mocked to the Ravens at a point, I think, right? Didn't some people have him go to 27?
Yeah, his range was all over the place because you see he didn't run a 40. Is he a 4.6 guy, 4.7 guy? Do we really draft a wide receiver that runs that slow in the top 10? Well, yeah, they did. He was picked. He was number 9 overall on my board and picked number 8. So I would have loved to have the big X target for Lamar. So if he fell that far, he'd be on the short list of guys I would want at that point. But of course he didn't. JP giving us the whole depth chart. Love it.
Nice.
Alex, it's our time.
Oh, is this the Shador prop bet thing? Yeah, Saints are on the clock. They're showing Shador Sanders on the screen. A lot of love for Jackson Dart in New Orleans is the rumors. As far as Scott style fit they have Kellen Moore there, if I'm not mistaken. Again, not up on the quarterbacks too much in this draft, but you see a Jalen Hurts comparison to Jackson Dart. And, when I watched the Trey Harris film and some Ole Miss, opponents, you did see the mobility of Jackson Dart is going to surprise people like it did with Bo Nix.
Really quick. Alec, I want to ask you something really quick. Do you have Jalen Hurts as a top 5 quarterback in the league? No. Where do you have him?
I don't know. Probably in the top 12, but
so with 2 Super Bowl appearances, 1 win, and 2 times outplaying Patrick Mahomes in those games, you don't have him top 5 in the league?
No, I think he's limited. I mean, look, I'm not saying that it's not impressive performances in those situations, but he's kind of has like a Herculean support class, right? Great wide receivers, fire running back this year at least. I think when I look at quarterbacks, you got Lamar. I still think Mahomes, I think he's got it. You know what I mean? You got Allen. Those 3 are really strong. I think it does get a little fuzzy after them, and I could definitely hear the reason to have Hurts, in the top 5. And maybe on a good day, I'd feel that way. But if I was building a team, he wouldn't probably be in my top 5 picks.
So I assume we're talking like Lamar Jackson, like you said, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, maybe at number 4, but that number 5 spot would be really, really dicey. Some people would say like, oh, Matthew Stafford should be up there. Some people would say, oh, Justin Herbert still got all the talent in the world.
Dang. Sorry, I just saw the Saints picked. I can't believe it.
Uh-oh.
Go ahead and announce it, buddy.
Calvin Banks Jr.
That's a Kelvin. Kelvin.
Kelvin.
Same thing, yeah.
My bad.
Yep.
Okay. Alex, what did I say, man?
I'll eat my L. I'll eat it. I would eat it. I thought I was me flipping up my Rolex like Shador right now, but I'm not. We'll move in.
Hey man, you're gonna get your $12.50 back from our buddy Mr. Rory there. So that'll cover the bet with the
It will actually.
Yeah.
And I'll put that all in the Capitals.
You just keep on moving.
Yep, we move. They helped me last night. We run it back.
So,
anytime.
Mr. Polianis, do you remember who I had in the perfect draft for the Ravens of the first round?
I do. I remember this man. Look, man, you look at him right now on the screen. He's playing left tackle. You can move him in at guard. Versatility. Yeah, I mean, he could have been pretty awesome, but apparently he was the top 10 pick.
Yeah, so much for the mock drafters, right?
Well, that's what we were all saying. It's like after like 6 or 7, who knows is kind of the consensus about who's going to get picked. It's so samey at this point. It's pick your favorite flavor, pick your need, pick whatever. But we're going to be jumping all over the board tonight. I'm pretty confident of that. We're already doing that starting early. And I don't think it's just because it's Raven centric. I think that's just the way it's going to be. Every team's going to view these guys a little bit differently because there's not clear tiers in this one. It's like a whole bunch of high quality starters. Maybe a Pro Bowler here and there. Not probably like every year Pro Bowler, not every year All Pros, but like really good players. And pick your poison.
So no quarterback taken. Alec is right. It's very samey. Next year, Alec, I'm gonna start bothering Alex and Sutton when I start digging into the draft to give your ear a break, because I was having such a hard time this year, guys. Like usually the true first round grades, there's about 8 of them. Yeah, if it's a good year, it might get up to 10. If it's a bad year, maybe there's only 6. And all I had was Travis Hunter and Abdul Carter. And I'm thinking there, and I'm starting to question my own sanity. And I'm calling Polianis. I'm like, bro, I think I'm only going to have 2 guys in the dark green. This is terrible. I'm going to look stupid, blah, blah, blah. And I release it. And then all of a sudden, everybody's like, oh, yeah, it's just those 2. So I'm like, oh, I'm good. And it was the same thing with the, where he said the draft looks the same. Like whoever I put at number 3 on the board didn't look right. Whoever I put at number 7 on the board, didn't look right. Why am I putting a tight end up there? Even Worry can't be that high. So it is very, very, as Alec put it, samey in this part of the draft where nothing would surprise you.
Yeah, actually, I was going to ask you, Jason, can we get an update on the big board? Can you throw that up on the screen?
Absolutely, absolutely. So at least I think so. Okay, here we go. So yeah, you see, it's pretty clean. I might, well, I don't have another view of it, but I mean, it's all chalk right now as far as players in the green are gone. Donovan Ezeraku at 21 is the first player in the orange. Tyler Booker, I love a lot. Shamar Stewart at 23, he'll probably go in the first round. And then playmaking corner Maxwell Hairston. So yeah, so far, it's pretty chalky in a draft that's really wide open. So the big board's holding up pretty well. And also, so I wanted to bring up at the bottom here instead of the scroll, the Ravens' offensive rankings last year. And this goes to your point of wanting a pass rusher who can close out games, because you look at some of these numbers and they're insane. There's a lot of number ones here. Number one, number one, number one, number one. Red zone percentage, how do we finish? First. Like, we have a really good offense, and we have everybody coming back to that offense, save McCary leaving in free agency and upgrading D-Hop over Nelson Aguilar.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, yeah, the offense is great, but at the same time, the defense is also really good too. I know they started off really shaky last season. Of course, new defensive coordinator. There's always going to be some growing pains. Same thing happened with Mike McDonald. But the difference is, can we be a little bit more than just bend, don't break? Can we actually break offenses, right? And Alex said it himself a couple of minutes ago. Like, we need to be able to force turnovers, right? We need to be able to force turnovers, especially in the playoffs. I think that's kind of like the missing piece here. And I think a big piece in forcing turnovers is having that dominant edge rusher who can actually make everybody else on the defense better, right? From, the guys who's on the other side of the defensive line to the secondary, so I still kind of stand pat on my edge rusher first round or at the very latest second round take, but we'll see how this continues to unfold. And I'll be right back, fellas.
Go ahead. Hey, second round wouldn't be a bad spot. I mean, if you can see just the colors, even if you can't read the green, I have, or the names, I have 8 pass rushers. I mean, even Nick Scorton, all in that range, as Alec was saying earlier, of guys, 8 deep who are worthy of a first or second round pick, in my opinion. And that's not counting guys that other people are high on, like Landon Jackson, JT Tuimoloau, Oladejo, Braden Swinson, Princely Uman Mielen, Josiah Stewart. All those guys could be, second round picks. So if that's the way you want to go, if you miss out on Ezeraku, or maybe they want to, fill the cornerback position simply, something like that, there should be edge rushers available on day 2 as the Bears pick Colston Loveland out of Michigan. So the Bears get a tight end.
Wow. Okay. I mean, I kind of see it. Got DJ
and Loveland goes ahead of Warren. So I had him faded on my board.
How did that happen? Sorry.
I'm sure our buddy Ken is steaming mad right now.
Sorry, Ken.
He's probably celebrating.
I'm gonna go comment on his thing real quick. I'm a petty bastard.
I'm watching the phone network here. I saw the Mark Andrews comparison up there.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, this guy's the real deal simply, and they ran their offense through him because their receiver play wasn't good. Their quarterback play was lower than not good. So it was basically, hey, the tight end's right there. Everybody knew he was getting the ball, and he delivered. So Colston Loveland, I thought he was an excellent prospect. I had him down at 30 whatever on the board because, again, 31 on the board because I just didn't see the Ravens taking the tight end in the first round. Maybe that changes if they trade Mark Andrews or someone else, but I just don't see it. I mean, Isaiah Likely to me is a foundational piece, a long-term piece. Running backs and tight ends were faded on the board early. The comment and trolling Ken. You ought to be ashamed of yourself.
Come on. Look, it's just one of those things where we were doing the show and I was like, yeah, no, he's my number 1. And I wouldn't be surprised at all if he goes first. I think I said, like, the thing with Tyler Warren, no offense to Tyler, but he plays with this physicality that he knows like he's a bigger, badder boy than anyone else on the field. And yeah, he was on Saturdays. I'm not so sure about on Sunday. And then his lack of ability to separate and just like I felt like he might be a little less special. And I look, I don't think he's going to be a bad player or a bad pick, but I think there's a reason we were all talking about Colson Loveland last year, and everyone's like, "Oh, that Loveland guy, he's going to be great next year." And we weren't talking about Tyler Warren. He couldn't beat out snaps from Theo Johnson and Brent Strange, but here we are acting like he's the prototypical. I mean, it's just one of those things where I just couldn't get fully behind it. So I think he's going to be a good player in the league. I think he'll be an above average tight end. But I think if you had to pick one with the higher upside, it would be Loveland for me.
I would say receiving wise, I take Loveland over Warren. It's just the blocking that people are all over the map on with Colston Loveland. I thought he was a better blocker than what I saw in reports. Like they weren't afraid to run behind Colston Loveland, but Tyler Warren is that prototypical Y tight end where you could ask him to line up on the line of scrimmage. He's got a lot of experience doing it, a real physical player. Hey guys, look who we got. It's the DON to the C. I won't do the whole rhyme tonight.
The Don.
Why not?
Don.
It's draft night. Why not?
It's the DON to the C, bro. Call him Don C. Got more game than Kaliko.
Okay.
That's where I'm going to. Yeah, that's where I'm going to cut that off. I have some more lines that aren't so family friendly, and I wouldn't want to do that to Don because Don's a nice guy. Dealing with family illness. My YouTube is mostly on replay. You guys have a great live and draft. Man, just thanks for thinking of us, bro. You know what I mean, Don?
Thank you, Don.
Like, even when he's trucking or driving, doing his thing, I don't know if he does it. Like, he checks in on the stream, wishes us a good stream, says we'll catch you on replay. That's a solid dude right there, bro.
Yeah, salute to Don, man. Salute to Don. Thank you, Don.
Do the making it rain bit, bro. I can't get enough of that.
I mean, well, yeah. Here's Don C on another episode of the Purple Rain podcast, actually hosted by @HuddleItUpFilms, making it rain here with the 5-piece in the chat, man. Appreciate you for coming through, Don, as always.
See, bro, we need to get Sutton. We need to get Sutton on the applications. We got to bring him applications, old school, bro. I'll mail it to you for doing voiceovers. Like Alec,
get on this voice. That for years, man.
Alec, get on this man for me, bro. He's not listening to good old brother Jay over here.
I mean, like, look, this man, he's got a beautiful voice. I could listen to you talk for a while, man.
Whoa, I wouldn't get so free balls,
And I love the PRP in the background, like Purple Rain podcast. I mean, dude, he's got a good setup over there. You got Linderbaum moving to the second level on the calendar. I mean, I like the space. I like the space a lot. Over here, it's a mess. It's all this percussion equipment around me.
I was about to say, I see all the equipment, the instruments and whatnot. You play? You must play.
No. I mean, okay, so it's not entirely true. I did play percussion in high school, but the drum kit's my brother-in-law's, and he needed a place to store it. And the electric kit back there is one of my best friends. And when he moved, he said I could have it. So my daughter loves playing on it. That's why the xylophone's on the ground. She loves the xylophone. She loves the drums. So I play bass. If you see the bass over there.
Oh yeah,
that's what allegedly.
It's been a minute.
He did start jamming on the Huddle It Up Films intro theme song. If you guys can remember how that goes.
That's right.
One time when he was backstage, I saw him messing with the bass.
That's true.
Back when I had a 2-minute intro, which was too long. But yeah. Yeah, a lot of love for Sut's voice in the comments, which is just awesome. Yeah, bro, put in, like, you could be doing car commercials or something. New drive, the new Ford. Just like us. Where they have, like, the 80s song in the field. Feels so good. Come join us, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, dude, why not? Why, if you could get paid sitting there with a microphone, why wouldn't you do it? You can still work your regular job or whatever.
I actually know somebody who does voiceover work.
Really?
Yeah, it's a thing. So the thing that's crazy is I didn't comment on when it was happening live, but they spent like the pick is in for the Bears, and they're spending like 15 minutes talking about the NFL draft or the NFL schedule release party is going to be on the 14th of May. Like, tune in. We'll tell you about Christmas, this, that, and the third. And I'm just like, guys, like, come on, can we just get to the picks? Like,
so are we going to be like the regular Christmas team? I'm wondering about that. Ravens Christmas every year, like the Cowboys and Lions on Thanksgiving. Is that
at least give us one at the bank, man?
Yeah, if that, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's true because we've played 2 years in a row, but neither one of them were home. Like if they're going to make us the Christmas team, at least give us one at home. We stay home for the holidays.
The bank for Christmas would be crazy. I'll tell you that right now. Insane.
I might have my wife leave me. I can't have it, guys. Like, can we just not? I mean, it's been bad the last 2 years. Me wanting to watch football on Christmas, so alone having to go to a game. Come on, I might have to sell my ticket. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, I saw that. I was at the Houston one this past Christmas. It was a time. It was a great time.
Oh, that's awesome.
Lots of Texans fans there. A lot of them didn't talk any trash because they already knew what was coming.
Yeah.
Good times though. Yeah,
you love to see it. Yeah.
Did a mock draft with my guy Matt. So much respect for Matt. Michael Williams being taken by the 49ers. Big, strong edge rusher. They're going to like him there. But anyway, there was a Texans fan on there drafting for the Texans. He ended up trading like more than what the Browns traded tonight for A.J. Brown because he was just so disgusted with their receivers. And I thought it was funny. He traded away Dameon Pierce. He traded away Dalton Schultz, like just to get those bums off the team. Like we were having a serious draft, and this man just brought all his emotional baggage into the Texas emotional baggage into the chat, into the draft. So I thought that was funny. I'm sure his fellow fans are like really mad at him for a lot of them anyway, for just doing the unrealistic and trading the whole draft away for A.J. Brown and trading away guys because he didn't like them.
Madden franchise mode type of thing you do.
Yeah, man, you're doing a professional draft. We were all there for our buddy Matt. You know, you got Bill Carroll there in a 3-piece suit. This man's just like trading the whole franchise away to get AJ Brown because he likes him. I mean, he's a great player too. So I don't want to say AJ Brown isn't great. He is. So another one off the big board. Yeah. Big board staying strong though, bro. We just got Colston Loveland, the only kind of like quote unquote wild card pick so far. But Michael Williams. Excellent player. I think he would have fit with the Ravens really well because they like run stoppers, and he's the purest run stopper in this draft. It's just like the most polished. You don't usually see somebody like Michael Williams, and I'm going to get to my slide here if I can find it. But they kind of like held Michael Williams back from rushing the passer, asked him to do a lot of bad or dirty work there. But when he was allowed to rush in those games versus Quinn Ewers in Texas, he had 4 sacks in 2 games. So when he was allowed to stand up and go get the quarterback, he did it. But most of the time they had him at 4-eye. He was down in the dirt, 4-point stance with both hands in the dirt, and he's got those edge rusher tools. So that's what they're getting.
I'm looking here at the board. We got the Cowboys with the pick in, Dolphins, Colts, then Falcons, then Cardinals, Bengals, Seahawks, Bucks, Broncos. I'm just thinking about Shador. I don't really see where if he's going.
Best in the North, checking in. Wanted to give you a shout out. Great pick for San Francisco, Michael Williams. I'm sure he has a lot of fans, and it's something to be said about bringing in a straight pro. Like somebody, he's got the NFL size and length. Look at the length, 34 3/8 inch arms, 6'5", 250, big boy football that he plays, that brand. So yeah, San Francisco gets himself a player. Just wanted to give a shout out to the best in the North in the chat. Could Dallas go with another weapon though? I think that's really, really interesting. Give CD Lamb some help. If they do, they still have a route runner there available in Matthew Golden. And we'll bring him up since somebody mentioned him. Any thoughts on Golden?
I'm just looking at the draft right now. I'm sorry. No thoughts right now. No thoughts. Cowboys pick is in.
Okay, and there's a big old offensive lineman running on stage with no hesitation. A favorite of mine, Alec.
Yep, I know. Dude, they're all going to be
Tyler
gone by the
Booker.
time we get to 27. They're going to have to draft a
Ooh.
D lineman or a safety or a cornerback. I mean, hey, I would be mad at all if they drafted Barron. I could get behind that.
So offensive players are going. There's a look at Tyler Booker. Alec, can you take us through his profile while I update my stuff, please?
Well, you got it right there, man. One thing teams are going to love is that he's a first-team All-American, even All-American as in his freshman year. That's pretty legendary. That's how you know. Left guard through and through. Play straight and play meter to finish is ideal. Combo of size, hands, and bend gives QB space to work. And he tested every event, tested poorly, may drop, did not drop. Teams looked at the tape, they know ball, and they said, this guy is going to be great. Look how happy he is. This guy's like, he's so thrilled. You love to see it. And, you know, I'll be honest with you guys. Look at the team that drafted him. Dallas Cowboys, you know, for all the crap they get about Jones and his craziness and the way he meddles, they're a good drafting team. They've drafted well for many years. I think they know ball, and Booker's off the board.
Yeah, it's funny because they're like America's Team, Glitz, Glam, Jerry World, Jerry Dome, but they're not afraid to draft like offensive linemen.
Yeah, they love
you
meat
know?
and potatoes, man. Yeah.
So yeah, where do you guys sit, Purple Rain Gang? I want to hear from Alex and Sutton on this. This guy has great tape, you know, dominant tape. Freshman All-American, and he was an All-American this year. Big, powerful guy. He comes out, he has one of the lowest RAS scores out there. Like his 40-yard dash was terrible. His 10-yard split was terrible. He tested in every event. So he just kept, like he should have just said, I'm not testing, I'm standing on my tape. But he goes out there, his vertical jump is bad, short shuttle, 3-cone, all those drills that not a lot of people care about were below par. How do you feel about like the athlete versus what you see on tape?
Alex, you can go ahead and take this one.
Okay, go. I feel like tape doesn't lie. I'll be honest with you. I can't sit here and say I studied linemen because I don't. I listen to people who are a lot smarter than me, and it's right there. I tested poorly. I mean, may drop his stock, but if it's showing that on the tape, and if he can fit in this offense and what we run, I feel like you got to take him. And if he was there, so that's kind of where I'm at. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and critique a lineman because I've never scouted one in my life. I'll tell you that right now. I'm probably the worst one for it.
Let me jump in for a second. You know, the thing that's crazy about the NFL draft process is they have this stupid combine and this underwear Olympics going on.
Hey, watch your mouth, sir.
I think there is some value to be had, but when you're training for those drills, it's not training for football, and some of it doesn't translate. So, like, I think it's one of those things where, you know, you look at the 40 times, for instance. The people who have the best 40 times are like the people who are best at running 40s. Okay, it's not the people that are necessarily the fastest people in the football field. And I think that's something to pay attention to. They all have GPS data now on these guys. They know how fast they are. They know how they move in space. They know how their instincts and all that good stuff. That's so much more important to me than what they do on one random day in Indianapolis after they had, you know, their arms measured for the third time. You know, like, I mean, it's just one of those things that I think I would take the body of work that is the film and really look at that strongly over any one day of testing.
Yeah. And just kind of looking at Insane's comment here on the screen, isn't this a little high for a guard? I think, you know, like you guys said, the Cowboys, they've been struggling for pretty much my entire life, to be honest with you. I've never seen the Cowboys win a Super Bowl in my lifetime, full disclosure. But I think that it's not a reach for them to go ahead and get a Tyler Booker at guard here at this pick, especially considering what you have in the NFC East, right? You've got a lot of killers in the trenches in the NFC East. I mean, we just saw the Eagles in the Super Bowl with the Jordan Davises and the Jalen Carters of the world and all the guys they have on that roster. And then, of course, with the Commanders, they've got Javon Kinlaw, Dorrance Armstrong, and, you know, there's other players too. But I just think that, and, you know, with the Giants, Abdul Carter, just getting him, that's going to put more pressure on the interior of that offensive line. I think that this is kind of like, with all that being said, this is kind of like a no-brainer pick for them. They've got sufficient enough players at the skill positions. Of course, Dak Prescott is a mainstay there. CeeDee Lamb as well. I think that they could definitely use an upgraded running back. That's 100% for sure. And I don't doubt that they go ahead and grab one in this draft. But No, I don't think that this is too high for Tyler Booker to go to the Cowboys.
Love it. Love it. Wanted to bring Kimberly Harmon in for her comments here. Appreciate you joining us, Kimberly. There it is. Okay. Do you think the Ravens get best players at number 27 or worst players? Just curious. Hey, I'm generally like it's for the first round. And she's disappointed that the Ravens didn't get a player like Booker. He would have fit really well. They like big guards next to Tyler Linderbaum, and I believed in him. Obviously, I had him 22 on my board. So, but yeah, with the first round, Kimberly, I'm going to weigh in quickly and just kick it down to Alex and go down the line. I don't have a problem with the Ravens' first round picks under Eric DeCosta. When you look at them in totality and the number of busts that we've had, which is pretty much zero, all those guys are still in the league. Compared to other teams who have players that didn't make it through their first contract, you can look down the line, look at almost every team. We draft pretty well in the first round overall.
Yeah, and I'm gonna go. Think about from Hollywood being the first one to Wiggins is the last one. Everybody's been productive to an extent. Even Owe, obviously. I mean, he hit his 10 sacks. I mean, you draft a guy late first round getting 10 sacks. I'm happy with that, but you gotta have a little bit of context there. But when he's picking in the first round, it's more than likely going to be better than turn out as a bust. So us being there, excuse me, at 27, I think we'll get somebody good who, no matter what position it is, will it be the position that we want it to be? That's up for debate. But I trust EDC enough for us to get a guy who can come in day one and produce. Not saying the coaches will let him produce, i.e. Nate Wiggins, which I would love to see him get more play time being a first round pick. But I think whoever we get in the first round will help us out come 2025.
Yeah.
So with the edge rushers, how would you feel about corner? Same principle, pass defense. If I'm looking at this guy right here, for example, he's like the consensus number 2 corner. Number 3, we were counting Travis Hunter. Sorry. So that's why he's got CB3 by his name. But Will Johnson, obviously, really good player. The speed did not hurt his stock. He's still on the board. We looked at him. But Jahdae Barron as well, another guy. Trent McDuffie comp to him, except he's got 4.39 speed. One of the better tackler in the draft. Just corner overall.
Yeah. I mean, when it comes to corner, again, I think I see somebody in the chat here. Jeremiah W. What's going on, Jeremiah? Says never enough corners. I can always think back to, I think it was 2021 season or something like that. Back when Baker was still with the Browns. I think it was a Monday night game or a Thursday night game. The Ravens got to a point in that game where they were literally taking guys out of the stands to go play corner, And so I totally agree. You can never have too many corners. Taking one this high, I would have a little bit of an issue with, only because my personal philosophy, and I think a lot of GMs will probably even agree with this, you got to build your roster from the inside out. And right now there are some holes on the defensive side or the defensive line and the offensive line, right? That need to be addressed. So again, I can't be too mad with them drafting best player available. If it was to be a cornerback, maybe it is Jahdae Brown, 5'11", 194. Those are good measurables for a corner. Really good tackler in the draft. You have them as the second cornerback overall in the draft. I think that it wouldn't be a bad pick. But at the same time, I harp on that edge rusher. Like I hope that the Ravens are doing their due diligence as we speak right now here in this moment, to see who will be available at 27. Like what is it stacking up to look like at 27? But again, can't be mad at that because again, you can never have too many corners. But I do expect, like Alex said, Nate Wiggins to take a step up this year, especially with the departure of Brandon Stevens. And I think that, if you don't mind, Jason, could you bring up your big board really quick? And because I want to look at the corners that are available, or that will most likely be available, maybe in round 2, right? Maybe some of the guys you have in orange will be available in round 2 for the Ravens. Who do you think realistically is a good fit, maybe for round 2?
Just to point out, can you guys see my cursor? By any chance on the screen?
Yes.
Okay, so like this is the cornerback group, 8 deep in second round grades or higher. This is the edge group, 8 deep, second round grades or higher. 2 guys from the green left in edge, 2 guys from the green left in corner. Only 1 corner taken, and that's been Travis Hunter. Only 2 edge players taken. Abdul Carter, obviously consensus, and Michael Williams. So both of these positions right now are have lasted pretty good for the Ravens. You could have easily had 2 corners taken by now. Could have easily had more than 2 edge rushers taken by now, and there's not. So it's right now. I mean, I know it's really early still. We're on pick 14. Goodell's about to announce the Indianapolis pick here. We'll see what direction they go. They were in the running for a tight end, and it is a tight end. Tyler Warren has been selected. So again, another pick that benefits the Ravens. I don't think the Ravens were going tight end in the first round. So far, I would have to say from a Ravens perspective, this board's looking pretty damn good, guys.
Yeah, it is. It is. And what I notice about it is that, I mean, what are we looking at? Most of the players selected so far are in the trenches. You know what I mean? We're looking at tackles, we're looking at guards, we're looking at edge. You know what I'm saying? Like, there seems to be an arms race, right, to build up those trenches based off of what we saw last season in the playoffs. So by the time 27 rolls around, I would not be surprised if literally the no-brainer BPA, best player available, pick was a DB. And at that point, I can't be mad, right? Because I don't, while I'm talking all this junk about, oh, Ravens got to get an edge, Ravens have to get an edge, I don't want them to reach at the same time. I don't want them to reach too far, So if there is a guy, like you said, a couple first round talent names still left at cornerback, a couple first round names left at safety as well. Again, a lot of people are projecting Starks to maybe be there at 27, maybe even Worry. So it's looking like the Ravens are gonna have their pick of the litter when it comes to DB, right? And I think that being kind of like the second, behind offensive line, defensive line, edge, that would be the number one need, I would say. So the more I'm sitting here talking about it to you guys, I'm thinking cornerback or safety might be the pick at 27. Like, if there was a FanDuel line set right now for like what position are the Ravens going to pick at 27, I think it would be a favorite for them to go ahead and pick a DB.
So yeah, 1 running back taken, 1 wide receiver taken, 2 tight ends taken. That's pretty surprising. More tight ends than receivers at this point. 3 tackles taken, or is that 4? 4 tackles taken. The guard was taken, 2 edge rushers, 2 defensive linemen, no linebackers, 1 corner, no safeties. So pretty even spread out there. But yeah, I think the surprise so far, you go through 14 picks in the draft, and in an average draft, how many drafts are going to have 2 tight ends taken in 14 picks and only 1 wide receiver?
So at this point, I don't know if you can still bet on the teams in particular, but at the pick 27, defensive line edge is plus 110, safety 250, offensive line 350, corner 650. But I think that's because it's not like team specific at that point.
Be right back, guys. Hold it down for us.
Let's do it.
I have a DraftKings right now.
Oh, I was just gonna say.
Go ahead.
The thing is, I know everyone was talking like, oh, they're gonna go tight end, they're gonna go tight end, they're gonna go tight end for the Colts. I still to this day I'm like a little surprised by that pick. Like, I get it. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's fine, but I just feel like there's so many things that team needs. I don't know why it was like tight end is like so commonly mocked, like as if that was their only hole. It's like they were ready to win the Super Bowl, but they're like, ah, damn, our tight end kind of sucks. Like,
we just need that tight end.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm like, that is not the state of your team, but yet that's how like the whole media talked about it. It's so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see it.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. You look at the tight ends who have gone off the board and where they've gone. I mean, one of them went to Chicago, where they have a young quarterback in Caleb Williams. The other one went to Indianapolis, where they have another young quarterback who probably needs a security blanket to take him to the next level in his career. So I think that's kind of like the philosophy with those teams who are taking a tight end early, but it is still kind of surprising, to be honest.
I
get the Bears.
AR. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I get the Bears taking it. Like they have DJ Moore, they have Rome. Like they fixed the lineup on paper, in free agency, and traded for Tooney. Getting the tight ends like the last piece I want to say for Caleb there compared to the Colts. I feel like they're like you said, there's I think bigger issues in tight end right now in Indianapolis.
But at the same time, you look at the big board, and maybe it's not the worst pick, right? I mean, basically all teams could use edges. But you think about, I guess I'll put it also this way: the Colts love picking devalued positions because they think they're the best player available. You know what I mean? Like, that's what they're known for. They're not known for taking, high positional value, primo position guys.
Don't the Ravens do the same thing though, Loki?
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, we drafted a center in the first round.
Yeah, I mean, it was a hell of a pick too. Ended up being well. I think the only reason why I think that deserves a little bit of context because, that was the same draft we got Kyle Hamilton, no, right?
Yeah.
At 14, yeah. So we traded back in to get Linderbaum. We had already gotten our real star. We just happened to get two, which was great.
I mean, look, Linderbaum. Don't get me wrong. I don't think it was a bad pick per se, but I just still remember at the time being stunned that they actually went that direction because.
Yeah.
For me, I forget who else was on the board at that time, but I just felt like he had to be a damn good center to be worth it.
That was another thing. You think where the Ravens were at, the state of the Ravens at that time, center was a huge problem, right? Snaps are going all over Lamar's head, right? Yeah. He got knocked out of the Buffalo game because, that very same reason. It's just that was a big thing. So I understood why we went ahead and we got Tyler Linderbaum. And still to this day, I'm grateful that we made that pick because center is kind of set it and forget it. It's a set it and forget it position right now. And, that's what I love.
I just remember thinking to myself, Jermaine Johnson was still there as the top guy, one of the top guys on
I remember that.
Jason's board. Karlaftis was still on the board. I will say, though, if you look at that draft, shortly after that pick is where it kind of got a little dry for a bit. You got a lot of swings and misses for a while. So,
yeah,
it's not too crazy.
Yeah, I mean, the Ravens average 9 picks a draft ever since Lamar Jackson has been in the fold, and they hit on about 2 of those per year. So about 22% of their picks they hit. And now this year with 11, it's going to be very, very interesting to see what they do. Not even necessarily so much in the first half of this draft, but the second half, the back half of this draft, because, I think the best players we've got after the 3rd round since Lamar Jackson has been here, the most notable ones, Isaiah Likely, Justice Hill, so if we're not getting players of that caliber or that potential, then this is going to be another one of those draft years where it's okay, we got a bunch of young talent. How many of them made the team, first and foremost? And how many are actually going to be able to get into play on Sundays, secondly? And then thirdly, how many are actually going to make a real impact and kind of swing the needle towards the Ravens' favor to actually get over that hump? So, man, EDC's got his work cut out for him. That's all I'll say.
He does. I didn't miss anything, huh? It looks like the pick is in for the Falcons.
See, it looks like
this is why day 2 is my favorite day. Yeah, goes a little quicker. You got quality starters on the board, but I agree with Sut. I think I've been unfairly accused of being an EDC complete homer defender. I think he's done a really good job in the first round, but when day 3, extra critical. I mean, we've thrown away picks. I don't know if he's deferring those picks to Harbaugh or scouts or whatever. Didn't like the Caillou Blue Kelly pick. Couldn't stand the Saleh pick. Didn't like the Devin Leary pick.
Yeah.
That was T. Martin's guy that he wanted. It's at some point, the GM, I know you build consensus and it's a great relationship. And I'm glad EDC, listens to people around them. But at some point you put your foot down and you make some picks. The Ben Mason pick is JP Bugs. Up. You bring Harbaugh's mom. And he said, "Oh, that was my mom's favorite player." This is a professional organization. I know he was just joking, quote unquote, but let's not even say something like that at the podium. And Parsons, edge rusher, popular pick to the Falcons. Let's see what they do here.
Yeah, and going back to the Ben Mason, like if we didn't have Pat Ricard, like okay, I get it. Or if we had a fullback that wasn't making the Pro Bowl every year, wasn't as good as Ricard is, I get it. But the Ben Mason just made no sense from jump. Like it was an uphill battle from there. Right.
So you guys with the betting talk, Jalen Walker was a popular pick to go in the top 8. It was like, well, somebody up there is taking him. A lot of people's top edge rusher on the board, aside from Abdul Carter, who was going to go very early, and he ends up sliding all the way to 15. So Falcons fans, I know they wanted Mike Green, or they were looking at Michael Williams and other edge rushers. They end up getting who many considered the second best edge in the group next to Abdul Carter.
Yeah, lost Matt Judon, who's still out there, free agent wise, which is surprising to me.
Yeah. So Sud, how would you feel if the Ravens were like, look, man, we brought in Kyle Van Noy, look what he's done. We brought in Clowney, look what he's done. We're going to grab other positions here, and we're just going to sign a guy like Judon off the street, bring him back. That's how we're going to address edge.
I mean, yeah, and apologize if you hear my dog in the background, but I would say to that, you better already have the contract situation, the extension for Lamar figured out, right? Because Lamar Jackson's cap number is getting ready to balloon here after this season. So I know they're already in contract extension talks with him to kind of kick that can down the road and keep some of that money freed up in the meantime. But if your plan is to just keep going out and buying mercenary edge rushes, then, I mean, somebody's got to be able to make a play when it actually counts. You know what I mean? Like, that's where I'm at with it.
Just high quality guy. Get yourself what you thought Oweh could turn into. And I mean, Oweh has produced, Alec. I think my big problem with Oweh is, if it's not the Steelers where he's racking up 2-3 sacks, he goes up against Deion Dawkins and just doesn't make much noise in either Bills game, that kind of thing. Like challenging, even if you can't get home, challenging the top tackles in the league is something I think Oweh's kind of fallen short on.
Yeah, he can definitely be streaky at times, and like you said, finishing against those top guys has been a bit of a challenge at times. I think, when we first got him, and he had that strip sack against the Chiefs in the first game home after COVID, I was like, oh man, that's what we're talking about, that turnover. And I think that's the thing that the team's missing so much, is the ability to generate turnovers and get the ball back in the offensive stand, particularly in the playoffs. You look at all the loss, the turnover differential has been bad. So I hope that we're able to start finding that, maybe even start coaching it more to try to generate, be a little bit riskier to try to generate turnovers. But yeah, Oweh, he's a tough eval. I understand why people get on his case, but I do think at the same time he's like a quality starter, and people forget what they have. They forget what all the NFL teams are dealing with. So context is everything.
Yeah, and Jeremiah pointing out that Deion Dawkins is an all-pro, but that's my point too. Like you can't just expect to get paid $20-some million a year and rack up sacks against Broderick Jones or whoever the Steelers' backup is. Like when you're facing an all-pro, you got to at least give them problems. You can't disappear. Like some pressures would be nice. Win once cleanly would be nice, even against the top competition, and not just, hey, we get 2 sacks this game, 4 sacks against the Steelers this year, this sack against this guy who's not very good, and then disappear in the bigger games. And our guy Jim, 20 eyes, with an arm in the sling after rotator cuff surgery. I believe it was rotator cuff. Oweh's he's still typing. This is great. Thank you, Jim. Oweh's never become the player the offensive coordinator needs to account for. Still has never reached the level of his physical tools. And I guess, Jim, if you can type in a yes or a no, or how long, will Oweh, continue to grow? Because he was a project type player. Like his growth here from 3 sacks to 5 sacks to 10 sacks is kind of like the trajectory. He's the opposite of Donovan Ezeraku, who's going to come in ready to rush the passer. Like he was more of the Shamar Stewart trajectory of, this guy's going to take a while to learn, but if he hits his ceiling, he's going to be really high. So, curious to see what you think about, like, does Oweh still have room to grow? Hey, we got our guy Chike in here too. Good evening, gents. Where does Chip Kelly rank in the all-time worst coaches of the NFL? Yeah, he was up there. What do you? What anybody got an opinion on that?
A lot of talent, on that team.
And Jim checking in. Oweh's not a rook any longer. So Jim's coming strong, bro, with the rotator cuff. Not sure if you're on any medication, but let it fly, Jim. Let it fly. Let the opinions fly.
Yeah, man. I mean, when it comes to Oweh, I mean, well, the whole Chip Kelly thing, I think some guys just aren't cut out for the NFL, quite frankly, as coaches. But when it comes to the whole Odafe Oweh thing, I mean, you bring up a good point, from 3 sacks to 5 sacks to 10 sacks. We've seen steady progress, that is for sure. But I think the Ravens are at a point now, where they just absolutely need that game-wrecking edge. And I hate to sound like a broken record, because I know a lot of the fan base kind of mimics that sentiment, but that's where we're at. I mean, we don't need a guy who's going to barely scratch 10 sacks in the season. And 10 sacks is 10 sacks, don't get me wrong. But if in the playoffs, like, your best quality is setting an edge and not getting after one of these high-octane quarterbacks, and a Josh Allen and a Patrick Mahomes and a Joe Burrow, and potentially, I don't know, Shedeur Sanders, if he comes and joins the Steelers, we'll see. CJ Stroud, Justin Herbert, we haven't seen him yet in the playoffs. The AFC's got a lot of really good quarterbacks. And in the playoffs, those quarterbacks tend to perform pretty well, and their X factor abilities tend to come out. So if you don't have a guy who can get these guys on the ground when it matters most, what does it really matter? Like that's just where I'm at with it. And, a lot of people kind of not necessarily projected, but speculated about Odafe Oweh maybe being traded on draft night, which I think is still maybe a possibility, but we shall see.
Sure, because he wasn't going to be traded for a top 16 pick, so interesting. So want to bring up Walter Nolan as going off the board, and I just one of JP Bugs' favorite guys. A lot of love for Walter Nolan in the draft community. No, our guy Chris, just joking, loves him. And hey, Love West checking in. Let's read what he has to say. I don't know who will be there, but the Ravens have to draft an edge. Who was that guy in college we can afford trying to build up a raw guy? We have a proven time and time again we can build them the right way. So you're talking about Shamar Stewart, one of the more polarizing players in the draft. He's got 1.5 sacks in each of the last 3 seasons. Mel Kiper brought something up that I thought was interesting. He went sackless, no sacks in the last 7 games of all 3 seasons either. So you're talking about somebody who got his sack and a half early. But Shamar Stewart has the body composition that teams covet. Insane testing at his size, 4'5", 40, and a 40-inch vertical. 40-inch vert is 6'5", 267. You look at the length there, 34 and an 1/8 inch arms. Disruptive, pressure creator. They moved him inside, slid him inside to pass rush, but only 1.5 sacks a season in each of the last 3 seasons. So the argument I've heard from people who love Stewart is you bring him in, you pair him with Chuck Smith, you let Chuck Smith build him up, like our guy Wes is saying. And then other people are saying, give me the polished pass rusher. I don't want to go through the Oweh experiences again. So that's the Shamar Stewart argument.
Yeah, and that's what makes it so interesting. Like I was saying earlier, like, who do you really prefer at that edge rusher position? Like somebody who has the traits, right? Somebody who has the measurables, or somebody who has the production coming right out of college, I think that if you are one of these sort of rebuilding teams, I think you can more so afford to get a guy who maybe just has the traits or the measurables, but not necessarily the college production. If you're a Ravens team, and I'm not Eric DeCosta, I'm not in his mind, I'm not in that war room right now, obviously. I'm here with you guys. I would want the guy who has the production coming out of college. I want the guy who knows how to get to the quarterback, not knows how to get close, not knows how to do everything else but get to the quarterback. But like, that is the most valuable skill that you can have, is getting a guy, getting your hands on a guy and getting him down on the ground, getting that loss of down, that loss of yardage. That's huge. That's huge. Keeping other teams behind the sticks is something that I feel like we need to do a lot more, and we hadn't really done it in the playoffs, especially against the Bills. Like it's crucial, man. It's crucial. Sacks are crucial. I think how many
and the
sacks
J-Dubs,
did the Eagles notch in the Super Bowl?
To J-Dub's point, the
10.
the Ravens have led the league in sacks over the last 2 years. I think they finished second last year, first this year. So I mean, maybe we're being harsh on them. It's a combination of coverage. Our defensive linemen get a good pocket push. It's a contained rush. So maybe it's just, I know the opinions on our edge play are kind of all over the place. I don't think it would hurt to go either direction. Like if you have a difference maker there, Kyle Van Noy's older, away in the last year of his deal. You bring in a third pass rusher. Seen Tavius Robinson mentioned. He's not a sack artist. He just doesn't have the body type to bend to be able to do that. He's a cleanup sack guy. Look at the sacks that he's gotten. They've come on twists and stunts in games. Very hard for Tavius Robinson to get home on his own. Ojabo, question mark. Don't know what you have in Adisa Isaac. So adding a stud edge would be great. But at the same time, I don't think the Ravens are hurting for pass rush if everyone stays healthy for 2025 and 2025 only. Two big ifs, though, their side is like, you lose away, you lose Van Noy, all of a sudden your pass rush in trouble.
Yeah, I mean, the Ravens aren't hurting at tight end either, but Mark Andrews is a big question. Mark Andrews led the league last year in tight end touchdowns, and still some fans want him gone. Why? Because he hasn't been getting us over the hump when it matters most in the playoffs. That's the only thing I'm saying. Up Cincinnati. Let's see.
Yes, Cincinnati at pick 17.
Pick is in.
Ooh.
I already know.
So Cincy, a divisional opponent. I've seen people say go all defense this draft. Could Cincy add an offensive lineman, or are they going all defense?
Yeah, man.
So in case you guys were wondering, Yuri is going to shower. That's what he texted me to tell me. He's going to shower.
Big news. Big news.
Yeah, then he's coming in.
Breaking news.
Breaking news.
This is an interesting pick, guys. I will tell you that.
Yeah.
I'm keen to hear your reactions.
Okay, Bengals selection is in, waiting, as you guys are apparently cheating and ahead of the curve.
Sometimes messages appear. You see the notification. You can't help it, okay?
So we didn't trade the Bengals Mark Andrews or anything, right?
All right, don't put that out there. Don't even.
No, not yet, at least.
Okay, so they take the athletic beast. Shamar Stewart is a Bengal. So for all the smack talking that we just heard everybody talk about Shamar Stewart, he's going to try to make you eat your words there, Alec.
Okay. Yeah, I know. I mean, I hope he doesn't hurt my boy Lamar. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, this is just yet another pass rusher entering the AFC North. He's going to be, bless you. He's going to be alongside Trey Hendrickson, who just led the league in sacks last season. Very interesting pick. Of course, you have Myles Garrett in Cleveland, TJ Watt, of course, in Pittsburgh. So I just think this pick makes it all the more relevant and obvious for the Ravens to go ahead and try to get their guy, whether that be in the first round or second round. I'm sorry. We got to get somebody. We got to get somebody, man, just to kind of keep up, because at this point, I mean, what's the best way to stop a superstar quarterback? To have a superstar edge rusher. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's the best way to do it. That in a run game, that in a really good run game. So, man, the way that it's shaking out right now,
I feel like this is a good time to add. There's been 4 edge rushers taken, 3 defensive linemen taken. So 7 out of the first 17 picks have been guys that you have plan on affecting the quarterback. So the Philadelphia Eagles effect coming into play tonight. 7 out of 17 on the defensive front. Pretty high number there, even for the talent in this draft. And I saw somebody bring up Adisa Isaac, and I saw somebody bring up Mike Green. Wanted to, and the Mike Green stuff was earlier. Wanted to address Mike Green. He is the number 6 player on my board. Now I just pretty much ranked them based on what I saw on the tape. But Mike Green has 2 serious allegations, one in high school, one that led for his transfer to Virginia to go have to play for Marshall, sexual assault allegations. So, he's not charged, anything like that, but who knows what the off-field, background tests and things like that the teams do reveal whether teams are scared off of Mike Green. So that is in his profile, unfortunately for him. But yeah, he would be he's going to be an excellent pass rusher if he's clean and he comes to the NFL and does his thing. But those options at pass rusher at the first round quickly drying up. So the Ravens, if they were planning on going pass rusher or would take a great one if they're available, those options are drying up.
Yeah, I just don't think the Ravens even touch that if he were to be there at 27 with the whole Tucker stuff right now. I can't see it happening.
Me neither. Like Mike Green's there with the way the fan base is reacting, with the Tucker situation still hanging over their head, and they're still getting questions about it because they haven't resolved that. I have a hard time seeing them touch Mike Green either.
It'll be a distraction.
Yeah, but you know who might, though? You know who might and is probably going to pick up a player with questionable character.
Cincy?
It's that team. No, it's that team up in Kansas City.
Oh, yeah.
I was going to say the same thing.
Yeah.
Tyreek Hill. They're like, no, come on down. No problem.
Yeah.
So, guys, here's one
Philly,
for you.
to be honest.
Yeah, Philly. I thought the same thing. Philly, too. I mean, I think both those teams, no soul. They're going to just do it. That's how you win the Super Bowl in today's NFL. You gotta have no soul.
So, what do we expect from Isaac? My quick answer, Jim, is I don't know. I mean, I think he's got plenty of talent. I think he sets a better edge, enough of an edge that is to where he can play on the field. He won't be a liability, so he'll get a chance to earn the right to rush the passer because he can play the run. How he does at that, I mean, especially first year, I don't think we can expect much. Like, we can't expect him to come out there and, play part-time role and pick up 5-6 sacks. That would be nice, but I don't think we can expect it. I don't know how everybody else feels about Isaac.
I don't know. I mean, I didn't see enough.
I'm going to say, Alex, weren't
he
you
wasn't
high
giving
on
him any
Isaac
stats.
when we drafted him or no?
No, not Isaac.
No? Okay.
I wasn't.
Gotcha.
Was it last?
I had no thoughts on Adisa Isaac when it happened.
I was high on Tampa.
Right, yeah, that's what it was. TJ Tampa, that's right. Who's another guy who should get some opportunities this upcoming season? Being honest.
Yeah. So Gray's Able off the board, offensive lineman number 2 to the Seattle Seahawks as they try to rebuild their offensive line. Excellent player, man. I think I'm going to bring up his slide if I have it because he was just really, really impressive. The tape is awesome. And then he went to the Pro Bowl and had guys calling out his name. He was so, as far as they wanted reps against him, he was so good. The guys were calling him out, trying to get reps against him at the Senior Bowl. Best competition, in the off season. So that really says something. Seattle gets this guy.
Do you dabble in some FCS ball watching, Jason?
I do when you got Gray's Able and North Dakota State is in the finals every year. They are like the powerhouse there. So, I thought it was cool that Zabel was offered the NIL money, but stayed at his home school to play with his brother. So if you have questions, well, why didn't he play at a big school? He turned down money to stay there, which says something about Gray's Able and his character and his loyalty type thing. So I'm sure coaches will love that too. But yeah, he's not like built the most powerfully, but he plays with power because he's so damn technically sound. Like, you try to bull rush him, he sinks his hips. We saw that against some of the big defensive linemen at the Senior Bowl. The quick anchor boosts strength, plus mobility, can block an outside zone, can get out on screens, can climb to level 2 and get a linebacker. He's just a really polished player. And for a Division II guy, I get an FCS guy to be picked that high at pick 18 in the draft just tells you how good this guy is.
NDSU can produce some players. Shout out to them.
And Jeremiah, pointing out, 32-inch arms is short for a 6'6" guy. It's short on the offensive line for any type of tackle. That's why he's going to move inside, and that's why I have him as a guard / center, IOL number 2. Just these, there's a minimum. There's a minimum. Even if you're not stuck on measurables, or measurables don't mean a ton to you, if you have 32-inch arms, these guys with 35-inch arms rushing off the edge are going to be able to get into your chest, even if you're technically sound. So he's going to have to move inside where there's less space, more help. He can make a difference. He can play center. He can play guard. We've seen Linderbaum do that with short arms. So yeah, there we go. JP bringing up a guy that I just dug up more information on, James Pierce, the edge out of Tennessee. So I was on with Bill Carroll, respected reporter, worked a bunch of places, and he was defending James Pierce because I brought it up in the draft. I was drafting for, I think, the Lions or the Bills or something. Ended up taking James Pierce after the Ravens had picked in that mock draft scenario. Again, helping out our guy, Matt. And I said, well, I'm reading all this stuff in his reports. And McShay brought up that he really needs to change his mindset. He needs to get away from people back home. Reading through the reports, it's not just speculation. It's everybody. And they're throwing in bits and pieces, but you don't really get the whole story. Bill Carroll says, well, he's got 9 unpaid parking tickets, if you guys want to know. And then Bill Carroll was like, well, if you want somebody to ask you how your family's doing, he's not that guy. He's not friendly, blah, blah, blah. But Bill was defending him, saying it's not, he's not a terrible, person. But at the same time, like, you see the Ravens taking that kind of like, I'm going to do what I want. Who cares if I'm not allowed to park here? I'm parking here anyway. Like, something tells me that type of personality bleeds into your football character. The only thing I saw on film is he would take plays off, cakewalk through the end of reps. So I didn't see a full effort guy. I kind of saw that kind of like selfish nature in his play as well.
Yeah, which is a reason he very well might drop to Kansas City or Philadelphia. Where's this kid from? Do you know where he's from?
Hometown wise, not sure.
Hometown. Okay.
Maybe Alec has the beast up on James Pierce, but yeah, I don't have that.
Let's see. All right. He's from Charlotte, North Carolina. Grew up a fan of Cam Newton. He went to Zulon B. Vance High School, which I think we all know was renamed to Julius L. Chambers High before his senior year.
Oh, of course.
I think that's common knowledge, but it's here anyways. So obviously very prestigious in the Carolina Bowl as a young man.
But there's some people back in Charlotte that are holding them back, right? Character-wise. Interesting stuff here. I mean, when you are on the cusp of becoming a multimillionaire, right? And there's so much on the line when it comes to creating generational wealth for your family. I'm not sure if this guy's got any kids or anything like that at this moment, but it just seems like kind of like a no-brainer. But the only thing is, like, a lot of these kids are really just products of their environment, and they're kind of like mentally in that space where like it's hard to kind of let go of some of your homeboys from back home, especially when some of them are probably in his ear like, hey, look, man, you're getting ready to make it, like you can come back home and kind of spread the wealth with us. I like that happens. That is a real thing, in one way or another, like that happens. So the whole 8 unpaid parking tickets is kind of funny to me. But
I thought that was hilarious. Like Bill Carroll just said it.
It's a great way to put things,
He's 21.53. Okay, I don't want to project, but I know how I was. I know how I was at 21. I should not have millions of dollars.
You didn't have 9 unpaid parking tickets, and you said hello to people when thank you when they held the door.
Look, man,
don't compare yourself to James Pierce, bro. Like
I know, but I'm just saying, like it is so tough. I think it's really tough for these NFL rookies who get the big deals to not have like all those struggles. I mean, they're young. There's a lot of pressure. A lot of times they they might want to want to help out people and things of that nature, but it can get challenging. They can get sucked up really quick. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it's really tough for those guys, and I hope they all get the guidance that they need to navigate it all.
Hey man, so surprise! The Bucks took Emeka Ibuka over Matthew Golden,
Wow.
and over Luther Burden. So they get their help. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin is a free agent, if I'm correct, right? I have to check out their depth
They
chart.
re-signed him, right? I'm not crazy.
Yeah, please
I
look it
think
up.
because he tore when he got hurt final play against us. I don't know why Bulls had in that play. That was
he signed a 3-year contract with the Bucks. So
they must love him, and they're giving Baker some weapons down there. So they're going all in on the offensive side of the ball. First guy taken from my second row. Now, with Ibuka, I have kind of a strong opinion on, and it's not consensus, but he's Ohio State's all-time reception leader. You know why? Because he had to stay all 4 years. You know why? Because he was always the number 2. To Jeremiah Smith, to Marvin Harrison, to Chris Olave, to Garrett Wilson, whoever it was, they were the number 1. Ibuka, hey buddy, can you play the slot? Can you do this? Can you do that? Sure. So teams rave about his unselfishness, his leadership categories, that kind of thing. But when I look at him on tape, it's like nothing stands out to me as far as NFL elite. I see a different type of play style, but same career path as like a Juju Smith-Schuster, where if you put him next to Antonio Brown, he's great. He can make a Pro Bowl. You ask Ibuka to be at number 1, it's just not going to work out. So that's my kind of evaluation on Ibuka. I like Luther Burden better, higher upside. I like Golden better, higher upside. Ibuka, solid player, good number 2. Can't go wrong with him type guy.
Yeah.
JP. Yeah, I forgot they had Jalen McMillan too.
JSN, good comp for him. So if you want a big old polished slot receiver, there you go. And that's what the Bucks got with Ibuka. Again, the coaches love him, high character guy. But go ahead, Alex.
I'm not spoiling anything. The Giants are trying to trade back in the first round. Nothing's been happening.
Back into the first round.
Yes.
All right.
Oh, God. Well, the thing that's interesting too about this pick is Godwin's, coming off a horrific injury. Evans and his hamstring, he misses a couple games every year, still finds a way to get 1,000 yards. I think even though they have McMillan there, they're going to find ways. Obviously, I think he'll be, the third guy out there a lot, but it could be very quickly he's the second best guy there because of injury, and maybe he even rises up and is number 1. Evans is getting older. He might supplant Godwin right away. It's in the range of outcomes, particularly after that injury. Maybe he'll never be quite the same. So, yeah. I don't think it's an awful pick by any means, but kind of like Jason said, they got a very polished, lunch pail wide receiver who will always be there, but probably will never make a Pro Bowl. And I don't know. That's just there were some guys on the board that might actually make Pro Bowls.
Yeah, the amount of talent left on the board is scary. I agree. Go ahead, guys.
All right, we're only 7 picks away from the Ravens.
I think we're starting to get in that time frame where ranking 7 guys or like creating a list and plucking them off and seeing how many we got is a reasonable exercise.
Yes, there's 7 guys left. I have Mike Green. We talked about whether the Ravens would take a player with some serious charges in his background. Nick Emmanwori, Will Johnson, and Jahdae Barron, the 2 top corners, aside from the unicorn Travis Hunter, are still available. The 2 top safeties, Emmanwori and Stark, still available. So his teams have stayed away from the DBs. You got big old Derek Harmon, play like a Ravens style defensive lineman. Excellent player, would add to our pass rush from the interior. Give us someone who can take over for Travis Jones when he presumptively prices himself out of Baltimore next year. And then you got 2 guys with injuries, which makes their draft stock a little bit harder to predict. Jihad Campbell, the linebacker just an excellent, safe, standout player. And then you also have Josh Simmons, the tackle, who I know a lot of Ravens fans would love, could slide into guard. He probably would have been offensive lineman number 1 had he not had the injury that he suffered during the season. And then, of course, Sut, simply our guy, Ezeraku, still on the board. So from Mike Green that you see at number 6 there to Ezeraku, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 guys. And that's not counting any of the, a playmaking corner I have at 24 in Maxwell Hairston. So it's looking like the corners right now have dropped and the 2 safeties had dropped. That's 5 DBs that I'd be happy with that pick. 7 picks out from the Ravens.
I'm forgetting. Denver didn't always have this pick, right? They just trade up.
I don't know. I thought they were picking around that time.
I thought they had an earlier pick. Oh, maybe I'm not. I might be tripping.
So J-Dub, I don't like the phrase "price himself out of Baltimore." Yeah, me neither. But you know what, J-Dub? Just like Patrick Queen, your guy last year, we got Kyle Hamilton, we got Tyler Linderbaum, we got Isaiah Likely. Do you really think we're going to pay Travis Jones and all 3 of those guys? Like, it's just probably just not feasible to come up. So yeah, I think this is a great draft with the depth and the defensive lineman to grab you Travis Jones replacement. Which Derek Harmon, better pass rusher, better prospect than Travis Jones with that size.
I saw the Broncos link with Omarion Hampton a lot from North Carolina. You think he goes here?
Yeah.
Would that possibly pick?
For sure.
That would be a great pick for them. I think tight ends were a possibility, but both of the top 2 are gone unless they really like Mason Taylor, which wouldn't shock me. But it's for a third tight end with the 20th pick would be surprising.
To answer JP Bugs, I think Harmon would be the one. I don't want Pittsburgh drafting. I could see it being Hayward all over again.
Yeah, because I think it makes this pick very interesting for Pittsburgh. Like, a lot of people thought it might be a no-brainer. Like, okay, yeah, they're going to go ahead, take a swing on Shedeur Sanders, right? We know Mike Tomlin loves him. I'm sure for the past 30 minutes to an hour, Mike Tomlin has probably been texting Deion Sanders like, hey, look, if your boy falls to us, we're going to go ahead and we're going to draft him. I think that would be a perfect fit. But with all this talent left at all of these positions of need for not just the Ravens, not just the Steelers, but everybody, anyone could use an edge. Anybody could use some extra cornerbacks, a really good wide receiver. You know what I mean? Defensive lineman. It's going to make the decision a lot tougher for the Steelers here at 21. I know we're still waiting for the Broncos to pick number 20, but this Steelers pick is going to be absolutely fascinating. Cannot wait.
I think they go with Shedeur. That's Judd A. Barron, our guy. Sorry to all the Barron fans, including me. Goes off the board, inside, outside.
Oh, no.
Not the comp guy, but Trent McDuffie was a darn good one for him. Goes off the board. So, yeah, get the cornerback. But if I had to bet my money, this is Shedeur Sanders' spot. And the Steelers are going to be very happy about that because they didn't have to trade up, move at all. They just sit there at 21 and take a quarterback that they believe in, apparently.
I mean, what do they have on the NFL, the Steelers? If everything, man, it feels like goes their freaking way sometimes. I'll have to trade up. I mean,
but what's honestly what's the thing that scares you the most about Shedeur Sanders? Because he doesn't necessarily have, the measurables. He's not athletic. He doesn't have the biggest arm, right? And I just don't know. I feel like in the AFC North, he is going to have his work cut out for him. We don't know where the pick is going to go yet, but I'm not that afraid of Shedeur Sanders. I'm really not.
You know what? The only thing that scares me about him is he's a pain in the butt. It just seems like a Steelers pick. We're a team that's a pain in our butt. Shedeur is a pain in the butt to play. Doesn't look pretty. Oh, he ain't got a big arm. He ain't mobile, but then he just throws the deep ball. I saw Russell Wilson comparison to him. Thought that was a pretty good one. Throws a nice deep ball. Takes too many sacks. Mobility. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But that's it. So again, another Mike Green question from our guy JEJB. Great to see you, bro. Great to see you. Check in. Do you think Mike Green will fall to us? Man, we just talked about that a little bit, and I mean, who knows? When you got all field stuff like anything is possible. Anything is possible. So I just went off the tape. He was my sixth best player, non-quarterback on the board. So yeah, well, who knows? But I knew somebody else said if Mike Green gets picked, he's going to be so happy. There it is. It's Josiah. He's throwing something on the grill if we get him.
I'm gonna say this. You're looking at the guys that are coming up. Chargers probably won't draft him. Green Bay probably won't draft him. Minnesota, I could see doing it. Houston, I could see doing it. Rams, I definitely could see doing it. So I think there's a decent chance that he goes. But if he gets passed, I mean, that's when you got. Look, man. Everybody after that has Super Bowl aspirations, which I know this is a major callback, Sutton, but I would say the reason he's not QB 5, maybe 6, is because of Daniels. I think that guy's the real deal. So going back to the Hurts discussion, but yeah, I think these teams are all really desperate to try to win a Super Bowl, and they might just want to overlook it. But dude, I just don't see it, man. I just don't see it for Shedeur. I think he's not going to get drafted today. I think he's going to get embarrassed, and we'll see about tomorrow.
All right, I think he gets drafted right here.
Well, the pick is in, so I could be a fool. I could have egg in my face.
One of the things that I think Shedeur fits with the Steelers is the organizational stability. And yeah, you go to a head coach like Mike Tomlin, and it's an organization like that. They got credibility. So if they end up having to bench Shedeur Sanders and Dion goes off, they're the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's okay. Like or if Dion starts blaming the receivers for Shedeur's bad play, it's okay. They're the Steelers. They can handle it. Whereas a team like the Browns, that could really crumble them and their organization.
Yeah. I definitely think that Shedeur should go to the Steelers here.
Uh-oh.
Yep.
What's happening?
He did not. So, Alec, looking right, I was wrong.
I know, and it's who I said. It's Harmon.
Yeah, and Harmon looks like a Raven, looks like a Steeler. Not going to be fun blocking that guy.
No.
Ravens really could use a guard. Yeah, that's what that makes me think of, because Harmon is a beast. Let me bring up Harmon's slide. I'll take off the big board here. I'll ask you guys to go through it for me here. Guy I would have been really happy with in a Ravens uniform.
All right, guys. So this is my pick in the perfect draft of going into Ravens uniform, and now that he's a Steeler, I think it's really quite interesting looking at how the board is playing out. I think we're not going D-line. This pick could still be edge, obviously, but D-line.
Yeah, 4 D linemen wiped out.
Yeah, D-line's been relegated to second or later. So I think you're looking at the corner safety edge situation, and it wouldn't blow my mind for what it's worth. Like maybe they covet Golden and they say, "Come on down." It wouldn't shock me at all because that's such a high value position. Even though this year it's a crowded room with Hopkins there, if you're looking long term, it's not a bad pick. And you get one injury and boom, he's in the lineup all the time. So I think wide receiver could be a sneaky pick just based on how the board's fallen so far.
Yeah,
this is
one eye where you got Anthony Miller. One eye where you got Anthony Miller on a game-winning drive in Buffalo. That's the point.
It's true. I love it.
Alec,
go ahead, Sutton.
Alec just got done talking about how Shedeur Sanders might get embarrassed tonight. And like the odds on that, I think, have skyrocketed now. Now that the Steelers have not taken him at 21, I know a lot of people were expecting that to happen. But it kind of reminds me of all of the talk we heard about Shedeur. And I know Harmon was the pick, but I was really expecting Shedeur to go there. And I know Jason was as well. I think that all the talk around him, having bad interviews and things like that, maybe he's too cocky, he's too entitled. This might be the league trying to teach these NIL kids a lesson. You know, there's been a clear changing of the guard in terms of like the power dynamics between, you know, potential prospects and these NFL coaching staffs, because you get these kids who are coming in and interview with assistant coaches who they make way more money than, and they're not like, you know, basically bending the knee to them anymore. And I feel like a lot of these coaches don't like that. That's why you get these articles coming out. Oh, this guy's arrogant. That guy's arrogant. He's too full of himself, whatever.
Yeah.
And maybe we see the NFL kind of teaching him a lesson here a little bit. He might fall to day 2, and that would be a huge story come tomorrow morning.
Son, I love what you just said. You know, I think that the NFL is always a little bit of collusion and cahoots, and I do think the NIL and how that's impacted that, and the transfer portal, and like how all these things have kind of impacted how the game's changed. Yeah, I think it's a new dimension. Some of these kids have already gone a decent amount of money playing the sport. Some kids stay in college because they can make more money there than they'll make in the pros.
Yeah.
You know? So it's a very interesting dynamic that happens now, and I think it does. You know, we were just talking maybe a couple picks ago about the character not concerns, but like giving young men unbelievable amounts of money. How challenging that is. Well, now some of them are getting it at 18. You know.
Well, hey, that should help the process. That should help the process.
Look, they always. I'm the first one to say they should be getting paid. Don't get me wrong.
No, I'm saying instead of waiting, I'm saying it'll help the process. They're getting the money while they're in college, not when they get to your team. So if somebody changes with money, they're going to do it at the college level with, you know, less pressure on it.
And kind of maybe that's what Sutton's talking about. You know, they've already gotten their first taste of the good life. Maybe they change a bit. They get a little full of themselves. They have a little more arrogant. Maybe they don't love the game as much. They're already like cashing out. You know, there could be. Actually, that's a good point. I think this is. I haven't really thought about this before, but I think it's interesting.
Yeah, and again, you know, I think with Shedeur, attitude Pop brought up, you know, I feel like Deion changes everything. Shedeur, I don't think you can only categorize him as a black quarterback. Why did they do it as black quarterback? This is Deion's son, and we just got through with a pro day where Deion went up to the guy who was running the 40 drill and said, "Don't listen to this man. Do it your way," to his players. This is Deion Sanders. This is a guy who's more popular than some of these franchises. So if you're going to draft his son, who he has coached his entire life, you're going to have to deal with somebody potentially criticizing you, meddling, being involved, who has a ton of power and influence. So that's why I liked Shedeur going to the Steelers. Thought that would be a possibility for him because the Steelers were such a stable franchise. The Rams would be another spot, I think, if Shedeur could sit and learn from Matthew Stafford and play under Sean McVay, who will get production out of Shedeur. I mean, you saw him do it with Jared Goff. Shedeur is a better, as good at tools as Jared Goff does. That's for sure. So, you know, but this throw Shedeur into like the Browns or the Panthers, not that they need a quarterback or some kind of like long time downtrodden organization, you're just asking for trouble, bro, because Deion Sanders is going to be a presence.
That Jared Goff stray hit me right in the heart, by the way.
Sorry.
Let you know.
He did make the Super Bowl. Yeah.
I'm a Goff.
Hey, what's going on?
My fault.
Hey, there he
I was
is.
checking the backstage thing.
Ooh,
What's
some
going on?
finger action. Wow.
Sorry. Hey, I got so many slides up here that I actually have to scroll. So yeah, we're doing it. We're doing the thing here.
Yeah,
Yuri, have you been able to keep up with the draft?
I have. I was watching at work. I was watching on the way home. No surprising pick so far. I think Loveland went a little bit higher than I thought. Booker to Dallas makes a lot of sense. Did one of those competitive mock drafts and picked Booker to Dallas a couple of days ago. Other than that, a pretty chalk draft. Was hoping a couple more quarterbacks may have went, but other than that, it's going good.
Awesome, man. Well, I'm happy to see you. Very happy to see you, Yuri. Yeah, 2 tight ends went before 2 wide receivers did.
Yeah, that was interesting. I thought Golden was a lock to go at least to Arizona, but he's still on the board. If I were to guess, he probably goes off the board year to the Chargers, but yeah, I guess the Bears want to run 12 personnel with Kmet and Loveland, which I think the skill set's a little redundant, but so be it.
So Yuri, Matthew Golden still on the board, one of the better offensive weapons in this draft. Only one running back has been taken. Hampton hasn't been taken. The Chargers here, interesting. They could use an offensive weapon. Lad McConkey looked good, but aside from that, Joshua Palmer left. They sign Najee Harris? Is he a long-term answer at running back? Like, how would like an Amarian Hampton as a third down back / potential workhorse work for them? Or maybe a Matthew Golden? Could you see an offensive weapon added to the LA Chargers here?
Definitely. I would definitely prefer Golden for them just because they spent, I think, $10 million on Harris, and then you add in the depth of the running back class. The opportunity cost, in a sense, is not there for them to spend a first-round pick on the running back on top of it. But the wide receiver room, they brought back Mike Williams, and it's just not doing a lot for me. So Golden would be a nice piece for them here. And you talk about the outside skill set that they were looking for in Quentin Johnson, and that really wasn't his calling card. He's more of a Z, and you kind of get him involved in the underneath screen game. But you have like a downfield threat like Golden. It can complement Ladd as well, because we know Ladd is a great receiver over the middle. And then you have someone like Golden who can play a little more outside of a role. It'll help their offense.
Yeah, I mean they're trying to chase down the beast in Kansas City, and quite frankly, I would like to see that division become a little more competitive, guys. Like, can we get Kansas City to drop back and the Chargers and them fighting for it? Denver's a sneaky team. Like, I would like to see it.
Yeah, that would be interesting. I'm still just kind of baffled by the Steelers pick, to be honest with you. I see like Steelers fans like that I'm friends with like on my Twitter right now. And I'm trying to stay off Twitter, but like Steelers fans are like very upset at this pick. Derek Harmon, yes. Yeah. Like I just, man. I mean, I get it, defensive tackle. I mean, I think I saw somebody in the chat say like they had to watch Derrick Henry run all over them. They want to shore up their trenches a little bit more. Of course, we saw what happened in the Super Bowl with the Eagles and the Chiefs.
Yeah, and Cam is like 50. I get that.
Yeah. So that it makes sense on that front. It's just like, who is going to make the plays when the plays need to be made? A lot of speculation about Aaron Rodgers still going to Pittsburgh. I don't know what their plan is to kind of get over the hump in the AFC North.
So Yuri, did you see the pick, Yuri?
For the Steelers?
For the Chargers. Just went off the board.
He's still walking up.
Okay, you're behind. Your TV is behind.
Yeah, you can announce it. It won't bother me.
Okay, well, hey, man, your guy, Omarion Hampton. So they do double up. Najee Harris and Omarion Hampton in the Chargers backfield. So Greg Roman's going to be really happy with that. Wow. Kind of a little bit of surprise. Now, I did suggest it. I did bring it up. I said offensive weapon and brought his name up, but ultimately I really would have thought like a guy like Golden would have fit better.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's the way that Harbaugh and Roman kind of run. They love running. They love having good, healthy running backs. And then Hampton, I mean, Najee Harris really isn't the greatest third down back, but you can bring in someone like Hampton to come in and pass protect and take some underneath screens. And that's a great fit. Like, that is like, this is exactly where you want them to be in a downhill, north and south type of scheme, like get upfield type of offense. So it's a nice fit. I would have preferred Golden, like I said, but it's good to see my guy get a couple extra $1 million.
Yeah, your North Carolina guy getting some love. So pick 23, pick 24, pick 25, pick 26. That's 4 picks, and then pick 27. So we basically can take our top 5 guys now, and you will be guaranteed to get one of them. It is getting close. Yeah. So Mike Green, Nick Emmanwori, Will Johnson still on the board, Malachi Stark still on the board, Matthew Golden still on the board, and then 2 players who would have already gone had they not been injured. Jihad Campbell, Josh Simmons, the linebacker and tackle. And then our guy, Ezeraku, still on the board as well. Wow, man. So you've got options at pretty much a lot of different ways you can go, especially in the secondary with the 2 top safeties and corners available there.
I feel like Houston or the Packers would take Simmons. That's my hunch. But if they don't, and he does fall to the Ravens, Jason, can you give us your quick eval on his ability to move inside for some time?
Yeah, Simmons could probably play inside. I mean, his length, I think, would tell you that he might do better inside, but he's just such a pure pass blocker, rather. The best pure pass blocker in the class, in my opinion. So, you see his starts on both sides of the line, Alec. That tells me that he'd be comfortable even if you asked him to play right guard. His vertical sets in any capacity, he was equally comfortable. Handle speed really easy. Quick feet, efficient hands. Sustains block, so like his hands aren't just efficient, they're strong. And he had that season-ending knee injury, or else he would have been up there right with Will Campbell and Membu up there. And because of his injury status, I'd just put him at 20 on the board. Expect him to still go in the first round, because if you draft Josh Simmons in the first round, you got him for 5 years. So if he has to miss half a season, or even if he's just not quite right all of this season, you're going to have a left tackle for the next 4 years after that. Just a great player, Alec.
Now, what about Rosengarten? Do you think you could punch him inside? If you're like Josh Simmons is he's a better pass blocker. We think he's a better overall tackle. What do you think about that?
I wouldn't do that.
I don't think that would work as well. That's my thought too. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just he's already got experience in Josh Simmons working his way back. You wouldn't mess with that. Hope Sut is back, willing to be back. Sut?
Yeah, he's back.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm back.
There we go.
He's so back.
All right, nice.
Real quick, Simply, Sut, I haven't interacted with you guys a lot outside of a couple of DMs between me and Simply. How you guys doing? How you guys feeling about this draft?
Hey man, doing well. First and foremost, thank you for that. And about the draft so far, there's been a lot of surprises. Again, I mean, you were here when I was talking about how shocked I was at the whole Shador thing. Kind of rewinding a little bit, the Browns kind of shocked me as well, not picking up a Travis Hunter with that second pick and moving back and getting a defensive tackle. So it's been a very interesting draft, to say the least. I can't say that everything that I expected to happen has happened, because it hasn't. But I'm just so anticipating this Ravens pick, because, like Jason said, I mean, honestly, at this point, I see a lot of people talking about, okay, should the Ravens maybe trade back? Because there's still a lot of talent left. There's a wealth of talent left in day 2, and even in day 1, of course. But man, I'm feeling good about it so far. But Alex, what do you think?
I'm right there with you. And son, I don't want to call you out, but we were talking about weeks ago, like, gosh, the Ravens trade back. It's like, no, like we have too many picks, this and that. Like,
yeah,
I don't really want us to trade back, because we had a really good discussion about, like, we've had some duds on day 3. Like, let's not sit here and talk about, like, we don't hit. It feels like on day 3. So like, you're gonna be getting some, maybe 4th, 5th round if you trade back there. I'm liking the way it's looking right now, but I do want us to trade up in the 2nd round, possibly maybe get a 2nd round, 3rd round pick. But as of right now, if we can get an edge rusher or maybe Simmons, I'm not going to be upset. I did see Will Johnson has some knee issues, which is why.
Oh yeah, I'm reading that. Yeah, I see that.
I just saw that too.
Yeah, some very, very bad. I was told chronic knee issues. So that's tough to overlook. I'm with you guys. I think a trade back, if one of these quarterback needy teams like really wants to give us a nice package, like a 3rd round pick or some sort of pick swap, where we can get another top 100 pick, I'd be for it. If Cleveland, the Giants, those first 2 picks in the 2nd round, and they want to make that move, I'd be down with it. Other than that, I think right now the chalk pick for me is looking like Starks. The nightmare pick is looking like Jihad Campbell. I'd be very against that. I would immediately close out this stream, straight to Twitter, because I'm streaming my phone. straight to Twitter, it would be the immediate slander of Roquan Smith. It would just immediate, like it would be immediate slander because it's just not inside linebacker 2 and the Ravens defense. Like we saw it last year with Chris Ford. Like they can platoon it. Like they can. You'd like Trenton Simpson to start, but they can suffice there. So for them to spend another high capital pick on it, it just wouldn't be for me. At the moment, Malachi Starks would be a great pick. We'll see what Green Bay does here. Simmons would also be a great pick, but I think Houston takes him pretty easily. I don't. That's pretty chalk to me. I think Simmons goes to Houston, and they finally address the offensive line that looks like got CJ Stroud into like bad talks last year. And then Mike Green probably off the board. Sexual assault allegations. I doubt it. I mean, I know I get it. The kicker's still on the team, but they like staying away from that in the terms of the draft. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure what to do. Matthew Golden would be an interesting let's add another playmaker. Why not? Burden's still on the board. It's interesting to see some of these guys slide because then you find out tomorrow at 9 a.m. that they
was hurt,
some sort of issue.
Right.
You already just said, Jason, that Will Johnson has a chronic knee issue.
Jeez, it was.
So that could be why he's slip sliding. Look, I'm licking my chops to those two safeties. If they're both still on the board, I feel like the Ravens are going to pull the trigger on one of them. I really do.
Yeah.
Will Johnson's got the chronic. That is terrible, bro. Apologies to Dr. Dre, but
it honestly is one of those sad things, man. You hate to see it with these guys. They have so much talent in the world, and the body just doesn't want to cooperate.
I like listening to Chris Sims in his top 5 because he's always got some out there takes, and he's right on some of them. So I'll give Chris credit. But he's like, Will Johnson, one of the quickest cornerbacks in the draft, lightning quick. I'm like, Chris, I think he runs a 4.65. Like that's the only thing wrong with him. And a chronic knee injury. Oh, that's rough for a corner. Packers about to announce the pick. They need a corner for Jair. So I'm interested to see what happens as this man is taking his time. Hopefully his health is okay. I will not make fun of the man at the podium right now.
Please.
He looks,
There was a Make-A-Wish kid a couple picks back, and I was like, come on, Jason, don't say anything.
No. You get burned once. I was in customer service one time, Sut, and I said, well, I need to speak to Mr. So-and-so, and Mr. So-and-so wasn't with us anymore. And the lady started crying. I was like, he's not. I'm like, oh, well, okay. I'm going to have to change my methods of making sure verifying you got to verify who you're talking to,
Yeah.
So that was, 19-year-old me had to learn the hard way on that one. So, I'm a TMI guy. I have a habit of putting my foot in my mouth sometimes. All right, gentlemen.
Off to try read his lips.
He's telling some story of the. Is the draft in Green Bay? Okay.
Yeah.
Come on, Jason. You're over here. You study 300 prospects. You don't even know where the draft is. Come on, man.
Yeah, come on. That's right, Alex.
Okay. And they do. They take Matthew Golden. Just too much value there, bro. Just too much value.
Yeah.
Packers first-round receiver, really?
And you know what? They were saying that they need an outside receiver, and it's a good fit because to me, and Yuri, you can speak to this when you're studying him. Matthew Golden is like he's not a big guy, but he's an outside receiver. He runs the entire route tree, got the 4.29 speed. So think about like your Zay Flowers as an outside receiver. That's the kind of style Matthew Golden can play.
Yeah, I saw the Calvin Ridley comp, and I thought that was pretty good. I think Calvin Ridley and him have similarities, maybe not as much of the above the rim, but the ability to change route pacing, the ability to come in and out of sinks, really the comebacks, the to your point, the whole route tree, especially you think ins, outs, comebacks, posts, like he's really good at running all those and being able to sell it, and that's a valuable skill set to have, and this is a good fit.
Z receiver, right? Z receiver, so they can move some of their bigger guys if they still have anything like the Romeo Dobbs and the Christian Watkins if he's still around, to your X receiver, your speed receiver. But this is another good pick. guys for the Ravens because I don't think they were looking necessarily to draft a wide receiver in the first round. Now, if Golden was there, maybe he's the best player. But again, the safeties are still on the board, the corners are still on the board, and there's a couple of good pass rushers still on the board. So that was a nice pick. 5 picks out for the Ravens. Now 4 picks out that Matthew Golden is off the board.
Yeah, and I mean I like it from the Packers, like you mentioned, adding on to a Christian Watson, Romeo Dubs. Christian Watson, a guy who's kind of in and out with injuries, over the years. And then also like the offensive line as well. I think they've got a pretty decent offensive line. Of course, they've got Rasheed Walker anchoring at that left tackle position, who actually we went to the same high school. He's a really nice guy. I went to his football camp last summer. But no, I like what the Packers have going on right here. I think that they could be a sneaky team in the NFC to maybe come out of the NFC next season. Just don't be surprised, but you heard it here first.
What's next year's Super Bowl is Super Bowl 54, right?
60.
60. Good God.
Is it really 60?
It's 60. It's a Super Bowl that the Ravens must win. We all know this. Everyone's gonna be apocalyptic if they don't. So that's why I know the number. I'm already getting my.
It's in Vegas, right?
No, it's
no.
Last year was Vegas.
No, last year was New Orleans.
Last year was New Orleans. I think it is.
Oh, I'm sorry. When the Chiefs beat the Eagles.
No, maybe.
When
Is
the
it back
Chiefs
to
beat the
Vegas?
Niners, that was Vegas.
I'm pretty sure it's Vegas.
It might be back to Vegas. You might be right. Let me check.
Vegas again?
Come on, you guys got Google.
Yeah.
Hey, so these safeties, Starks.
Oh no, it's California. That's right.
Eamon
Oh,
Warrior.
yeah. It's
Oh,
San
that's right. That's
Fran.
right. Yeah,
San
that's
Fran.
right. Yeah. That's right.
Starks. Eamon Warrior. What's the opinions here on these guys? I think that they've been talked about so much that even if you haven't studied the tape, you know the profile of these guys. This is your big, fast, strong guy right here, elite, freaky athlete, Eamon Warrior, who, by the way, had 4 interceptions last year. Starks only had 1. 2 pick sixes for Eamon Warrior. So he's not just some athlete out there. I think he's been unfairly criticized. You see the 43-inch vert, elite size speed combination. But he's got that versatility that you love. And then Starks is your pure free safety, easily projects as free safety, as I put in the notes, plays with plenty of anticipation, and his play speed is a plus. So he's a 4.5 flat guy, which isn't a burner, but he plays faster than that because of his instincts. Impressive at the catch point, an all-time interception on his highlight reel, and he's an effective form tackler, but he best profiles on the back end. He's not going to bring the pain as a tackler, but I didn't see many missed tackles. So Starks, solid ball player. It's going to be a good pro and plays free safety definitely versus Eamon Warrior, more of your Kyle Hamilton like chess piece. Football IQ on Starks' side. Play speed, bring the pain. The tackle, elite tackle production for Eamon Warrior. I think he racked up close to 80 tackles each year. So you're getting that interceptions. Stark versus Eamon Warrior.
I'm Team Starks without a doubt. I had
Yeah.
Eamon Warrior about 38th on my board. It is the football. Now he is the relative athletic score obviously is there, and the ability to be versatile is there. But I think it's a little redundant. I want Hamilton to go back to being that versatile piece. I kind of don't want to have, I know it's good to have 2 versatile pieces, quote unquote, and you can mix and match them, but I really do want that deep free safety, split safety, quarters. I think Starks fits that more than Eamon Warrior. Eamon Warrior, to me, is a little stiff in coverage, especially once you get to the post. Some of his recognition skills are not up to snuff to Starks was. Starks, you could see the diagnose go like that, quick, diagnose, move to the spot, get to the spot, break up a pass. So big fan of Starks. Eamon Warrior would be all right, whatever.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Donovan Jackson selected, by the way. Just wanted to throw that in. So all 3 top guards off the board for the Ravens. Guard is not going to be taken by the Ravens in the first round.
The Giants have traded with the Texans.
What?
The 25th pick.
Okay, so Dart or Shador?
Yeah. That's
Milrow.
literally what I think they're gonna go Dart. I
Milrow.
think they're gonna go Dart. Yeah.
Milrow. The Rams could go Milrow, but here's the issue I'm having right now is I need Jihad Campbell to go off the board. I really do. I don't want that temptation to be there for DaCosta. I really don't.
He's a great football player. He really is. I mean, Jihad Campbell is one of the easiest, cleanest upside. I mean, if it's floor and upside projections, there
Alabama. I mean, it's
Well.
got Raven written all over. I understand why you'd be scared if you don't want him because it's such a Raven pick. Oh, he's injured. It's fine.
No, it's not
What's
about
his injury again?
It's about the position. It's about
No, I know it is. I know it is.
100 mil linebacker, and then
He's I think it's torn
It's a labrum
strat.
shoulder.
in his shoulder. Yeah.
Labrum.
They found it at the combine. So the man played the whole season with it. And, he would have been off the board if not for it, in my opinion. Very consistent snap to snap pro feel to his game. It took me about 10 snaps to be like, oh, yeah, this guy's that's a pro. Even among the Alabama guys, it was like that guy right there. That's the player. Alabama edge recruit. So he sat behind Dallas Turner and Will Anderson. And they wanted to find a way to get this monster on the board, on the field, excuse me. So he moved him to inside linebacker. He ended up sticking there. So he's an excellent blitzer, obviously, with the rush background, and can be a factor off the edge if you want him to be that. If you want to put in a NASCAR type package, take an extra defensive lineman off the field. You could do that. Physical play style, plenty of range. He is an NFL Mike. Of course, here he would play Will next to Roquan. He could allow you to move on from Roquan in 2 years and not pay one. And then, of course, after he blew up the combine, they're like, yeah, your shoulder's torn, bro. You did all that with a torn shoulder. So he had to have surgery. Recovery time for that, I don't know. Tried to look into it, and the time frames are way all over the board. Some people be like, yeah, he'd be fine for training camp. He'll be hitting. Other people are like, well, he probably won't be ready to the season. So, yeah. And, yes, doesn't Jihad play outside too? That's what he was recruited to Alabama as like a 4 or 5 star recruit to rush the passer. So he does give you that. He just hasn't been able to work on that part of his game.
The thing that's funny to me about this trade up situation by the Giants is that I understand that other teams could have traded back into the first, but like no one's doing like unless that trade happens, no one's taking a quarterback. You could have waited till 34, and I'm not convinced anyone would. Like I don't know. This is a little surprising to me.
Maybe they're doing the whole Deke. You're like, hey, Alec.
Maybe they aren't taking quarterbacks.
Sutton's been calling me, bro, to call a trade up. Don't say nothing, Sutton. You better trade up now, or else Sutton's going to trade up. Maybe they're doing that kind of thing.
Yeah, Will Johnson is falling like a rock.
Oh man.
So where did we get the Will Johnson knee info from?
Adam Schefter.
Oh, geez, it is.
Oh,
I'm gonna
shit.
put that on. Are you sure? Like that for real? I want to put that on my
100%.
big board.
We did.
A real
I wouldn't lie
We
to
did
you.
get trolled.
I wouldn't lie to you.
I didn't get centelled.
Holy
Centel,
crap.
yeah, that's the kids call it.
I got it. There's the draft professor's group chat. That's where I got it from.
Are we serious about this? Because I'm going to put the red cross on him if he's.
Yeah. Put
Yeah,
the
man.
Red Cross Blue Shield on him.
What a shame.
Man.
Now it brings up the question: is the Ravens, when they said their draft board, they're taking guys off because of medical concerns? Does that include him?
Yeah, right. I would imagine so. For if you're talking first round pick, like chronic knee injury, man, that's
no cartilage in the knee. It's tough.
It's
You're
true.
a Giants
Now you're
fan right
saying it.
now.
My knee's a little janked up, and I don't even play football. You know.
So the Giants strike me as more of a Jackson Dart team than a Shador team because of the Jalen Hurts in their division and Jackson Dart getting the Jalen Hurts comps. I don't know.
I heard Dabble loves him. Brian Dabble loves him. So
Oh yeah. Okay. So he's worked with Josh Allen too. So you're talking about a mobile quarterback with a bigger arm. It would seem like Dart instead of Sanders.
East Rutherford, New Jersey. I was just there.
From a vibe standpoint, Winston, Russell Wilson, and Sanders. I mean, those are some good vibes. Like, if you like, you're not going to win a lot of games, but simply from a vibe standpoint.
Yeah, I mean vibes, and then just kind of like mentorship as well, because Jameis Winston will do everything he needs to do. Russell Wilson, same thing there. So I think it's a perfect situation for a quarterback to come in. But like Alex said, though, it's interesting because it seems as though at this particular point in the draft, whatever quarterback they want, whether it be Jackson Dart, whether it be Shedeur Sanders, whether it be Jalen Milroe, they're going to be there. And by the time their next pick comes around, I think you said 34 or something like that. So
Yeah,
it's again, it's just very interesting. Can't wait to see who they pick though.
they're just contesting against themselves, and I don't know. I don't know if any of the other teams had the appetite to trade up for one of these guys.
Cleveland definitely had the appetite.
Well, Cleveland gone to Cleveland. Cleveland made a savvy trade earlier.
Atlanta just jumped us.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, yep. Atlanta. Yep.
Schefter. Yep.
Yep.
They're at 26.
I'm only looking at the stream. I'm only looking at the live TV. So
Yeah, I see that. Giants here, Atlanta, and then the Ravens. So we're close, fellas.
what does
Who the
Atlanta
fuck's
do?
Atlanta
That's my
gonna take?
question. Come on.
Because
you
Atlanta
want
just
to
took an edge, right?
So
Yeah.
it is
wow.
Jackson Dart. He is the second quarterback taken. Wow.
That's funny because Joe Schoen, their GM's kid, put like Jackson
Yeah.
Dart's post on his Instagram.
Yeah,
I saw that.
That's the sources. That's the sources right there.
It's funny because his kid last year wanted him
Those
to draft Jaden
glasses.
Daniels.
Oh my god.
yeah. So now he gets his wish.
He gets his wish now. It's a fascinating draft. I'm not gonna lie.
It really is. This first
Atlanta-
round's kind of crazy.
Atlanta
even-
getting what? Burden? Why would you jump the Ravens? Starks?
I would think that did the Falcons get a pass rusher with their first pick? I think they did.
They
They
got Walker
did.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Starks?
Maybe that's what I'm thinking. Maybe they
Georgia?
want like one of the safeties that they definitely want.
Yeah, that was safety.
No. We are one pick away from Malachi Starks. Oh, no.
Yeah, I'm just so tickled, man. Jackson Dart gets picked. They got this guy with his nice like $4,000 camera rig, and then he also had in the other hand a disposable camera, and he's cycling through to the next shot to take another photo. I love it, man. People are crazy about the nostalgia.
When your notes are better every year, competitive / tough, and Jalen Hurts, I don't feel very good about that. He's all right. Like he's the off script ability is there, but I don't within structure. I don't feel great about him. I also don't feel great about him pushing over the middle, and then the athleticism
Holy
is very limited.
Sorry, they gave him a future first to move up. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. Yeah.
The Giants gave up a first to go from 34 to
No. The Falcons.
From 43 to
No, I think it might just been just straight first.
so they still
So
have
the interesting part about this board is you have Mike Green, whose problems we outlined off the field. Then you have Will Johnson hurt, Jihad Campbell hurt, Josh Simmons hurt. So that's 4 players with question marks. You got 3 injured players and Mike Green. And other than that, it's those 2 safeties that are standing out there, which makes me think that Atlanta wants a safety.
Izaraku Starks. That's
Or
that's
a good point. Maybe nobody wants Mike Green and they're jumping in to get Ezraku.
Izaraku Starks. Give me the trade details on Atlanta, Alec.
I got it. Here it is. So the Falcons trade 46, 242. I love how I got it done. And the 26 first for 26 and 101.
I'm gonna be honest. If they were interested, I would have done that. Absolutely. I know they're jumping us, so I would have done.
Oh no, I would have. If they're offered that same deal to the Ravens, I would have been all over it. But they must be picking a safety. That's my guess as well.
Yeah.
They're fearful that we would take a safety.
Or they would
Draft is crazy.
I don't know. That's so weird. What are you using a first round pick to trade up for? If you already have your quarterback.
Oh, interesting. I know who they picked.
Oh.
Oh
Sorry.
my gosh.
Sorry, I was on the fashion spot and it just came up.
That's all right. Well, please do not ruin it. We will keep it for those that are trying to keep it a surprise. But
Look, man, I
That's
tried to
fun.
find the pick stuff for you, and then it just popped right
I
up.
mean, it's all good, bro. It's all
If
good.
it isn't Jihad Campbell, I'm nervous. The Raven EDC, he loves BPA.
He loves a Jihad Campbell, yeah.
He loves an Alabama football player.
Yep,
Oh, there's
very
the-
could well be. And I love how none of us are thinking even about Will Johnson anymore. You know,
It's probably off the board.
probably
Ravens are
off the
picky.
board.
The Ravens are like me with food. They're picky.
Oh man, the Ravens.
Okay,
are gonna
Goodell,
have-
walk into
oh.
the mic.
Mr. Goodell.
No diggity. Let's bag it up.
There's so
Is it
many
even
good
Worry? Is
people.
it Starks? Malachi Starks, probably. That's my best guess. And it is not. It is the man with reportedly 9 unpaid parking tickets.
You're funny. You're funny.
Bro, I mean that's a nugget right there from our guy Bill Carroll.
Dude,
I'm
I'm
Bill
shaking
Carroll.
here.
Bill Carroll told me that Pierce has 9 unpaid parking tickets.
They jumped
And
to
it,
Pierce?
not so many words. Not so many words is just like not a nice person.
We weren't going to take Pierce.
Yeah, I don't think you would.
We weren't going to take Pierce. Why would they trade up? I don't think we were
Look,
going to.
that regime is terrible. That regime's not going to last
Yeah.
very long. Flat out.
I think it's one of those
Pierce.
classic. It takes 2 to tango, right? And they found the right tango partner. And that, I mean, look, this is how it worked. They called him up and they were like, "Hey, we're going to give you this," and they're like, "Fucking right!" Like, like okay,
Yeah.
sounds good. I guarantee you, the Rams just fell ass backwards into something that they're not too mad about.
Absolutely. I think the Rams are like, well, I guess we'll see Arch Manning next year. Like that's they're probably like, okay.
All right,
take
the
that.
Ravens on the clock. Here we go. Make your pick. Call your shot now.
Oh my god!
I'm gonna take Mike Green out of the equation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just because of the Justin Tucker and everything else going on.
It's gotta be Starks.
I'm gonna predict that they take Starks, but this would be a good spot for Ezraku. And this would be a good spot for Maxwell Hairston, the playmaking corner. So who do we got, guys? Who are we?
It's
going to take?
Ezraku.
It is that
Ezraku.
time.
Ezraku.
I'm going Ezraku because like every
They think
Ravens
you have
beat
Campbell,
writer.
I'm gonna be irate. This is Nate Wiggins 2.0. I'm gonna be irate.
My heart says Ezraku. My mind says Starks.
They're gonna. I'm gonna go with my boy Mink, and they're gonna go with Starks. That's my hunch. But hey, if they get him in Worry, it'll be a meme. He was like, "What if they got tagged up with Kyle Hamilton? That'd be so sick." So
Oh my gosh.
I mean,
I just
they
hope it's
could
not
come back.
Campbell.
They could come back.
Me and you, Yuri, will both be upset about that. But
They
I'm
could come
not.
back.
I'm not looking. I got Discord closed. All right.
Yeah, I say I got my phone completely closed.
All
I'm
right,
not even
Simply, did
looking.
you have a guess? Stop looking at your phone, Simply.
I said Ezraku. I'm uploading videos. I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Well, let me
he's-
stop
he's-
the business.
Oh,
Let me
that's
stop the
true.
business.
You got the highlights for all these guys already, huh?
Yeah, he gets them up like in
we're
an
at
instant too.
200 videos for this draft. Yeah.
Damn.
I mean, he just,
Now, did you like are you creating some assets on the fly for like the teams, or are you just like posting it?
I'm just posting it.
Yeah.
I'm just posting it. Just get the thumbnail up.
Nice. 200 videos. What a legend.
Did Atlanta get information that the Ravens wanted James Pierce that bad?
if they did, the Ravens are probably laughing at them. And the weird thing is that the Falcons were all cheering in the draft room like they just like stole. You know what I mean? Like, we got it.
So
Meanwhile, yeah, that was pretty wild, man.
I'm gonna just point out something I heard that that earlier that might be valid. Eagles are trying to trade up. Will we trade back? Still being the first. Lots of good players on the board.
Let's get. I mean, I'll take the third from them if they want. to
And like
offer it.
JP saying, the Ravens are famous for disinformation. So they could have sent like a paper boy down there to fool those guys in Atlanta. It wouldn't have took much.
Well, the story has been
Send the
started.
mailman.
The story has been started. We've been linked to it.
Mailman said the Ravens are taking Pierce. So shoot, we better give
Yeah.
up a first round pick to get ahead of them.
Yeah,
We don't need those.
an insider threat. You know.
Poor Michael Penix. He might not have the best, well constructed roster around him.
But look, they got 2 edge rushers now. They addressed the need twice.
They did. So what wasn't it, Michael?
Ravens are picking.
Okay, so the pick is in. The Ravens
Yeah.
are officially picking. So
Guys,
we got Ezeraku, Starks. Those are the 2 popular picks. I'm sure they're
Simmons.
popular around
Simmons.
Baltimore right now. Josh
They love
Simmons. If you love Josh Simmons, you want to keep Lamar upright now and in the future. If the medicals check out on Josh Simmons, he would be a very good pick too.
In terms of my board, ignoring injuries, Simmons, Starks, Ezeraku.
Man, the thing that's crazy too about this right now is I couldn't believe. If you told me all these guys would have been there, I wouldn't have believed you. But it's a crazy draft, and we did say how same-ish these picks were for a while, that it could go crazy. I'm still flabbergasted though that we could get a guy in the single digits on Jason Huddle Up Films illustrious big board.
I mean, hey, the Mike Green stuff might be more serious than we thought.
Well, I mean, sure, Mike Green, but I'm talking about Eamon Worry.
Oh, well, hey, I stuck with my evaluation, said at the beginning of the show, saw Eamon Worry go for a guy that everybody was mocking in the first round to where you couldn't find him in any mock drafts. I'm sticking with my evaluation of Eamon Worry. He is a good football player. He's not a great football player yet, but he's a true junior. He's only 21 years old.
Yep.
He was a freshman All-American too. So you're looking at upside with a guy with those physical skills. People think he's just an athlete, not a good ball player. He's got things to clean up, but he would be just an exciting piece, a versatile piece, somebody that can run and hit with the best of them in this draft and cover the deep half, by the way, with all that athleticism and height. And we see a pick of the war room. The Ravens are celebrating and hugging.
I would like agreement here that Jihad Campbell is a bad pick. It is.
Agreed.
Of all the needs we have, not it. Is that the? Oh no, never mind. It's
last year's board. It always.
Yeah, they like to put the last year's board in the background. Had me taking screenshots last year.
Me too.
When they put out the
AI
video to
enhancing
YouTube.
them.
Yeah, but I got to at least look back on the year before and see where we were right or wrong. Jihad Campbell, Nick Eamon, Malachi Starks. Man, could it be Josh Simmons? Could it be Jihad Campbell? Those are the Will Johnson, maybe. Let us see. Come on, Goodell. I can't take it anymore. This is the moment we've been waiting for. Thanks, everybody, for all your support. Love y'all. Make sure you check in. We will be here beyond this time and into tomorrow all day, too.
My stream might be behind. I don't know how to catch it up.
Okay, here we go. And it is the often mocked Malachi Starks is a Baltimore Raven.
There we go. All right.
Mink, I got text him.
All right.
Good job.
Oh, that's
So the
funny.
Ravens with the 27th pick get the number 12 overall prospect on my board. Ecstatic about this. Big game experience, and the profile easily projects the free safety. As you guys know, it is tough to get a true free safety. The Ravens get one, plays with plenty of anticipation. Play speed is a plus, and impressive at the catch point with his timing and body control. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of Ravens fans right now looking up Malachi Starks highlights, and the first highlight they will see is one of the most impressive highlights you're going to see as far as an interception goes. And he's an effective tackler. And one of the things that I did not like is that he had a down season this year because he was moved around as a chess piece. So they took him out of that free safety position, asked to play some slot, asked him to play in the box, and he had a down year. And as you guys know, flexibility and positional versatility is pretty important to the Ravens.
Yeah. I love the pick personally. I know I sat up here and talked about for the greater part of 3 hours that we've been live. Edge rusher. But again, I couldn't be mad at the Ravens going for the best player available, and the fact that Malachi Starks happened, to fall to us. I think that it was kind of a no-brainer for where we were at. I think he's the perfect puzzle piece that you can fit in with a Kyle Hamilton. I think that the Ravens saw what moving Kyle Hamilton around last year did for the defense, and I think that bringing in a Malachi Starks kind of gives them a little bit more clarity on what they want to do, especially in that secondary. So Ravens still have a lot of their work cut out for them for the rest of this draft, but this is a good start.
Yeah, I would add to that now we can go back to those cover 3 looks, and we can be comfortable in the fact that we have a deep safety that can be able to track downfield, especially play the post. It was an issue last year with Marcus Williams. You see the passes over his head. Hope he catches on wherever he goes to. Super excited with this pick. This is definitely a chalk pick, but a very good chalk pick. I would say that it is at least telling that Ardarius Washington probably kicks it back down to the nickel a little bit more. And then you have him and Humphrey kind of rotating a little bit. I don't think Starks will take 100% snaps right away, but I think it'll be some sort of 60-40 with him and Ardarius kind of rotating for a while until I would say week 6. I think you see Starks kind of take over that free safety, strong safety-ish role. The Ravens safeties are kind of undefined in terms of where they like to play them. So great pick. Glad, very, very glad. You would have seen a absolute crash out if Jihad Campbell was the pick here. Clearly more going on with the shoulder than we are to be let on. And this back half of the first round and going into the second round, what I'd like to say is to the people that think this draft sucks or think there won't be good players available at the back end of the first and the early part of the second, clearly right now there's a lot of good prospects on the board if you're willing to take the chance on some of the medicals.
Yeah, I want to take over for Yuri here for a second. JP Bugs, our guy Jason, checking in. Thank you so much. Sut, can you take it away with the rain call here?
Wow.
Yeah, man, our guy JP Bugs dropping the 20 piece in the chat, making it rain here on this episode of the Huddle It Up Films edition of the NFL Draft 2025. Thank you so much, JP Bugs. We appreciate you, brother.
Love that. I wanted to build off of Yuri's point. It is really tough for a rookie to come in and play free safety and call the back end. So this pick kind of makes sense for the Ravens in that they still have Ardarius, and they have Kyle, of course. So you can break Starks in the right way and not put a ton on his plate. So yeah, love the pick from that perspective. Did not get the pass rusher we wanted right here, Sut, but maybe in round 2 we do. And all the leadership qualities and stuff, like that's something that people talked about what Starks get. So you definitely get a positive person as well, a team leader on that field, which you need to be, by the way, if you're going to be calling the back end as a free safety.
Safe to say the Ravens liked his answer about the color purple.
Right?
If you saw that clip.
I didn't see that. What was that?
That was absolutely the Ravens asking, how would you define the color purple to a blind person?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and that was undoubtedly them. And his answer was something along the lines of describing the darkness of it, and the answer isn't important. The importance is that he's Raven.
So I would say, if describe the color purple to a blind person.
Yeah.
I would say if you've ever tasted anything grape, it looks like it tastes. It looks like grapes taste. It's the color of grape.
To me, I would use the reference of one, has this blind person ever been described the color purple before? And then I would use probably blue, and then it's like darker, darker, darker. And then use red, kind of like the color wheel, a little bit of 6th grade art there, but definitely some sort of variation between references and then the color blue.
Bro, you realize he's blind, right? You don't know what blue looks like.
Yeah, but he's been described it before. He's been described the color blue.
So, how do you describe the color purple to a blind man?
I'd probably be like, have you ever listened to the movie Color Purple first? I would honestly make that reference first and foremost. But I don't know, man. I'm just kind of still like over the moon about this Malachi Starks pick, man. And they're showing kind of his highlights on TV right now. I think my stream is a little bit behind too.
Wow.
But yeah, I mean, SEC guy. Go ahead, my bad.
No, the Detroit pick is a kind of off the
The
deep end,
Lions.
in my opinion. Yeah, they're doing their thing.
Look, I'm a Lions hater, and this adds fuel to the fire. This is linebacker, running back, safety, tight end, defensive tackle, nose tackle. They're not their time. They're like the Orioles. Their time has come, and in my opinion, their time is gone.
Yeah, the Lions took Tyleik Williams, who is basically profiles as a nose tackle, with the 28th pick, with all that talent on the board, with Ezaraku on the board and Aiden Hutchinson hurt.
Crazy.
Their fans are screaming for edge help. So yeah, no Mike Green, no Ezaraku. They go with a nose tackle, Tyleik Williams. Nice player, good run stuffer, nice feet and all that, but still somebody you could have had around later, Yuri.
Sure, the Lions are going to do their own thing, and we'll see them again in the playoffs because the division is maybe not the strongest now, but honestly, they're going to get lapped. I think they're going to get lapped pretty quick. I am a Lions hater, so I will say this probably with a lot of bias, but bad draft pick. I think the biggest reach so far for me on my big board. They could.
I mean, on everybody's, Yuri, and that's what I have a problem with. Like, if you love Tyleik Williams, you should know. Okay, well, his highest I could see him go is mid-second, something like that, and pick him around that range. Like the Lions are doing what Mike Mayock did. They got him ran out of Vegas, which is pick Cleveland Farrell 4th overall when you could have had him in the 20s. Pick Damon Arnett 18th overall when he was supposed to go in the 2nd round. Like, it's okay to love players, and if you want Tyleik Williams on your team for whatever reason, go ahead and get him, but don't pick him a round ahead of where he's supposed to go.
Yeah, that's just sure typical Lions, but I'm not a fan of that pick at all, and I think this is the fat lady singing for the Lions, in my opinion.
Yeah. So JP Bugs, you're asking Yuri why he's a Lions hater. I think it's because Yuri is a big believer in positional value and athleticism, and they go against that. Is that correct, Yuri?
That would be quite spot on. Positional value, not so much, but athleticism, absolutely. Like, I think the Jahmyr Gibbs pick was fine, but to follow it up with Campbell, I think that was not the best because Campbell isn't a 3. He wasn't going to be a 3-down linebacker to start. He was going to be a 2-down run stuffing linebacker. They already had Malcolm Rodriguez. They could have used corner, receiver, anything other than that last year's draft, and then now they add on top of it a nose tackle, which, I mean, fine, but Aiden Hutchinson's coming straight off the injury he has, and there's no guarantee that he's going to go out there and be the what was it, like 6.5 sack and like 20 pressure guy or 40 pressure guy he was in the first 4 weeks of the season. There's no guarantee of that. So
I want to kick it to Simply on this. Simply, I've been thinking, I brought this up actually the other day when I was drafting for the Lions. I think Lions fans are in for a rude awakening this year. And this has nothing to do with the pick they just made. But we were here in 2021 and how that bled into 2022. And fans are like, all right, it's 2022. We're getting all our guys back healthy. Yes, nobody's injured anymore. And then it's just like, man, they still don't look quite right. Then you get the whole, well, they're 2 years removed from the injury now. So I think Lions fans are going to experience that. Plus, they lost their offensive coordinator, got a head coaching job with their rival Bears. So this might be a tough year for the Lions, with the injury hangovers.
You're telling that to me, somebody who actually roots for the Lions. I
think it's rough. I really do. That's why I came to you on it. That's why I came to you.
Unfortunately, you are right. Love me some Jerry Goff, and I have a weird attraction to just mid quarterbacks. I'm pretty sure. I don't know what it is.
Fair enough.
I don't know what it is. I just really like the but yeah. Losing Glenn as well. I'm not gonna sit here and act like losing both your coordinators doesn't hurt. Like you said, 2022. We were a good team, but we won what? We lost Lamar, lost a couple of guys. We blown leads with Mike McDonald first a couple of games. So I'm happy the Ravens are my number one team. I'm just gonna leave it at that. I root for
Hey,
them
man.
because it's a cool story.
Hey.
I like Dan Campbell. I like eating kneecaps as well.
Nice.
But their run was over.
So we got our guy Attitude Pop back in. Hey man, thanks. Really appreciate it. Hey, nice LeBron profile pic or whatever they call it, man. I really like that. Oh, Stark's mama said Lamar is is Stark's favorite quarterback. Said he gets to play with his favorite quarterback. Now I like the pick even more, but our O line won't hold up again next year. We will draft defense. We'll see. You know, Attitude Pop. I don't know how familiar you are with my channel. Not sure if you're coming from the Rain Gangs, but this is a big. I agree with you. I don't want to say our line won't hold up again. I'm just saying we are playing with fire. We are playing with fire. In my opinion, you got one of the best, if not the best, quarterbacks in the game right now. You got one of the best, if not the best, running back in the game right now. Your wide receiver room is good. Your tight end room is good. The only thing holding this offense back, you're in Monk in year 3, would be bad offensive line play. Why not make the offensive line as strong as you can to make sure your offense will be ranking high in those categories, number one, as we saw in a lot of the league last year.
Do we have the next pick?
We may have Josh Connolly Jr. From the Washington Commanders. So there you go. Sut, it's about time for you to get out of here, right?
Yeah, man, I'm gonna go ahead and call it a night here. Get working on this video before I get in bed, and I still got to eat some dinner. But it has been a pleasure hanging with you fellas, and the first night of this draft has been surprising to say the absolute least. I am happy about the Malachi Starks pick. I see a couple people on Twitter, including our good, I guess you could say, a peer in this space, Coach Evans, Sip to Tally Films. He said he was very disappointed in the Malachi Starks pick because he also wanted edge as well. And I kind of still feel that, but there's still a lot of talent left in this draft. I'm going to continue to look at your big board, Jason, to kind of track what we got going on for the rest of tonight and then also going into tomorrow as well. But again, just want to appreciate you for having me and Alex on, hosting the Purple Rain Podcast's draft stream this year. It's been a pleasure, bro. And each and every one of you guys, of course, Alex, Yuri, Alec as well, has been really good chopping up with you guys. And I'll catch you guys on the flip side.
Sutton, love you, bro. You know it. And very proud of you for the way that you move, on camera, off camera, down there in Texas now. But I'd be more than happy to come on with you guys. You know it, Alex, if you need me, after the draft to go over it and do a draft type show. But I consider you guys, very, very close vibes to what I like to have on my channel. So I really appreciate you doing this, Hut, and joining us for tonight.
Of course, man. Love you too, man. And like you said, like you have right behind you, football is family. And if you ever disagree with that, if you're listening to my voice right now and you disagree with football is family, just go to a barbershop, right? Just go to a barbershop and just sit in there and you'll realize that football and sports is family. So again, appreciate y'all, and I'll catch y'all later.
Love you, bro.
All
Take
right.
care.
Have a good night, bro.
All right.
There he goes. Legendary Sutton Def. Legendary voice. Well, we won't call Sutton himself legendary. We gotta preserve the term a little bit. But I love that guy, man. That was awesome. Simply, are you going to be joining us tomorrow, or are you checked out? Don't know.
I will
Not
be checked
sure.
out. I still got videos, so I'm making more videos and I'll be posting them. So
You mean dates? You mean dates, right? Like it's Friday night tomorrow. You're going out.
Yeah. You got a date. You got a date. You got a date.
Not this week. With that being said, no, it's draft week. Like, if you're trying to schedule something during draft week with an NFL fan, you are not the one. You have to understand what this weekend means to us football fans.
Right.
Not
You
my
get
now.
yourself a down to earth lady. That's right.
Now I say, hold up. I had a phone call this past weekend. I said, look, this weekend, Saturday, 4th round of the NFL draft. Look, I'm gonna be busy, but it ends at like 4:00. We can go on a date at like 6. And she said that's fine. So I think you can work around it. I really do.
I like that. So you compromised. You laid down your boundaries. Hey man, I need to watch the draft. but you also gave her the attention. So that was it. That's good. You're working together a little bit.
Yeah. Now tomorrow night, am I free at all? No, I'm not. Day
Oh,
two.
yeah.
Day two is where championships, where the Ravens have the opportunity to take some really good players that fall. So, will I be free then? No. Once we get to day 3 and we're taking Willie Lampkin on the 6th round, it's cool.
There you go.
I'll see that come across my notification.
Yuri, I dropped a tear when I took him off the board, bro.
You what?
Yeah. I think he's a center, man. I really wanted to believe in him in guard. I was trying to get more players on there. I just decided to take your guy off there. So, yeah.
Sorry, we have 3 6th-round picks. It's fine.
J-Dub checking in. Love his relationship when he does his relationship info. My wife understands the first round, day 2, not as much. All right. Well, see, J-Dub, what you got to do, what you should do is you should cheat on day 1, in my opinion. Now, you got your own opinion, but I like day 2 better. So what I would say is, look, the Ravens picked around 11 o'clock tonight. Just be like, all right, honey, I'm going to go see who the Ravens pick. It's 10:45. And now the Ravens are done at 11:30, and you could be back with your wife, and then you could enjoy day 2, where the Ravens have more picks and the action moves faster. That's my soliloquy on that.
It's a beautiful take. I agree with that entirely.
So the Bills are on the clock. Then we have who?
I feel like we skipped Connerly.
Yeah, Connerly went off.
Let's do some Connerly analysis in here, Jason.
Sure, let's go ahead and do it. Connerly is a guy that I like. Just give me one moment here, please. Okay, take it away, Yuri.
So I am a massive fan of Connerly. Like, I thought if you were to rewind, to January, he could play tackle for you, or he could play guard. I thought Kansas City and Philly just did a swap. I thought that he could start for Kansas City at tackle. He could start for a lot of teams at guard too. The ankle flexibility is there. The hip torsion is there. He can set as a pass protector. Roger Rosengarten was my first thought. If Roger Rosengarten left tackle. He is very efficient with his hands. The underrated part for me is the left horizontal movement. I think he can get out there. I think he can do the things downfield that you need him to do. Bill's pick is announced, but just to wrap up quickly on Connerly, great pick. Great pick for the team that traded up for him. Great pick for the Commanders. They needed offensive line help. I wasn't the most confident in their offensive line help, and don't know where he slots in at. But if you put him out at left tackle on island, I think he's fine.
I think Rosengarten is a decent comp, but the thing that strikes me and with Connerly, it's the hands. I think the heavy-handedness and the bull rush. I had a little bit of questions about Rodgers' overall play strength. I think Connerly is pretty. He comes off to me as strong, Yuri. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that the engagement at the point of attack is there. The question with Rosengarten was, once he got into his set, how are you re-engaging? How are you resetting the anchor? And then we saw this year that his anchor was fine. It was fine. His anchor was pretty good. Through college, through the NFL. Then you go to Connerly, and I think the initial point of attack was good, but once you got to the arc, that's where the questions came. But good fit. Transitioning quickly to the Bills pick, Maxwell Harrison from Kentucky.
I would have loved to have him on this team, by the way.
Yeah, juiced up, very, very juiced up, high RAS athlete. I think 3 pick sixes last year, or 2 pick sixes. Playmaker on the ball. Huge compliment to the Bills secondary. They re-signed Trey White, and then they bring in a guy like Harrison,
right?
Which was second year last year, was a huge weakness for them. Still surprised to see Trey Amos on the board.
I was going to say that, with you build on this for me, Yuri. They brought in Trey White, who's 5'11". They have Rasul Douglas, who's not really a big old corner either. Like, I would have thought that Dre Amos would be a little bit better fit in Buffalo to give them a bigger body to match up with than Hairston.
Yeah, but I think the way that this quote unquote league is moving is the playmaking ability, and Amos is a big pass defender. He's not a pass interceptor. So maybe that's a thought process there. Fine pick by Buffalo. He will be able to match up with some of those Z receivers that can move downfield, like a Flowers, like a I'm trying to think of the 4-3 guys in the AFC, like
Tyreek, if he's
Hill.
still, yeah.
Like he can match up with those guys because he has the long speed, he has the short speed and the long speed. The hit torsion is all there, so he's a great prospect. Good pick by Buffalo. Curious to see the back end here. This first.
Yeah,
round.
I wanted to ask Alex and Alec on this, because now coming up, you got Philadelphia and Kansas City. Okay, what do they have in common? Two very successful teams. Their rosters are good. They'll be there. So we have all these prospects like Campbell with the shoulder, like Josh Simmons with the ACL, with like Will Johnson with whatever's going on with his knee, Mike Green, Kansas City might take a chance with him. But
actually, Eagles are on the clock and the pick is in. They trade a 5th round pick for it.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying to you, Alec, is this: you got established teams. Or is this where, and contenders with good rosters, is this where some of the injured players come off the board, where you have the 5th-year option on them? And if they're not ready in September, week 1, you're okay because you got Patrick Mahomes and you got the Philadelphia Eagles.
I feel like, I feel like this might be Simmons here at 31, because both teams believe in the trenches. They know that, Sumateia first year wasn't looking sharp. They might be already looking to move on. But then again, in the same breath, flip it on the other side. Could be Green. Both of these teams, we said, are heartless, soulless, just trying to get a Super Bowl shit. And they might be willing to take the risk.
Yeah, so that's a yes.
I think it's one of those two. Yeah.
So that's a yes for you as well, Alex. Like, with these teams, as good as they are in their style, player with character like Mike Green, injured players, maybe they're more likely to go here with these two teams.
Yep.
I'd more so say the Eagles. Like, the Chiefs offseason really hasn't moved me at all. They had to free up a lot of cap. Their line is still, it's garbage. To say the least. So I think they have to go in line here if they can. Eagles more so, I think they can take that risk. It's how good that roster is. If their first round pick misses a couple games, they're still going to probably be 5-1, 5-2 maybe. So Eagles have that flexibility. Chiefs not so much.
You think the Chiefs need some help right now, huh?
Yeah. What I thought was interesting was that Howie Roseman said that they have a no tolerance policy for sexual assault. So I don't know if Mike Green is going to be the pick here. I would say Izaraku for Philly would be like the similar pick to Nolan Smith a while back, an undersized edge rusher with the ability to leverage. And the issue here with me is that if Kansas City gets Simmons, like that's a quote unquote doomsday scenario in terms of prospect going to right team fit. Obviously, the injury is there, but Simmons going to Kansas City would be pretty tough, because we talked about the pass protection skills. It's there. Sumatia, they picked last year. Me and Boss we're big fans of him, and then the Ravens go with Rosengart with a more refined pass protector. So now they go actually with the more refined pass protector this time around. That'd be a tough pick. Obviously, the patella injury is there, but Kansas City, like Simmons, Mike Green, I'm like, okay, like damn, like we are. That is a good pick for them. And then thinking inner conference, Eamon Wari too. They could play split safety with Hicks and Eamon Wari, and they could be fine. I don't like Kansas City's in a really good spot here at the back end of the first.
I've been thinking sneaky pick would be if they like Travion Henderson or Judkins. And if they can get over the fact that they missed on Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I mean, they're on paper, their receiving core looks good. You got Xavier Worthy, Hollywood, Rasheed Rice coming back. Juju is their fourth guy. You got Travis Kelce still at least for one more year. Noah Gray makes his plays. But their running back play is just Kareem Hunt was the best one. So I wonder if they take advantage here and we're like, look, second round we can get an okay back, but first round we could get maybe a guy who was their second ranked back overall or something. Maybe they had Judkins or Henderson ahead of Hampton. Who knows? Every team's board's different, but running back would be a sneaky pick. Philly's pick is in, and of course they get the biggest, baddest dude on the planet, somebody who should have went earlier, somebody that Yuri did not want on the Ravens, Jihad Campbell. Philly got themselves a guy.
Well, they paid Zach Vaughn. I can't say I would know who their other inside linebacker is. But yeah, I mean, Philly loves being similar to the Ravens. Fangio with the cover 4 defense, they can run some interesting packages in terms of blitz looks. They don't blitz a lot, but if you think you can line Campbell up on the edge, or if you want to drop him back into a zone drop, I think you can do either for them. So it's a nice pick for them. Like I said, I don't think the fit was there for us in terms of investment ratio, but good pick. It's a good pick for them.
So, Alec, they did go with an injured player. They can afford to chill and be like, look, by playoff time, this guy's going to be a tackling machine and can blitz for us.
Yeah, I mean, it makes a ton of sense. Look, this is the luxury that good teams get is, they don't get to draft high, but they get to take whatever's left over because these teams that are desperate for immediate production, look past these things, which is funny because they're desperate for immediate production just so they can get a worse draft pick next year because they ain't contending. So it's just kind of funny.
I think what's interesting to me is that Philly didn't want another outside corner. They didn't want another cornerback. They tried last year to pay Patrick Queen $19 million a year to come play linebacker for them. So the need and want was there. And then you think about Jihad Campbell, kind of a souped up Patrick Queen in a sense. Patrick Queen, if he was a 3-down cover backer consistently being able to drop in the spots, obviously here his first couple of years he was more of a blitzer and a tackler and defensive rookie of the year candidate. He got a vote, so I'll give that to him. So you think about that linearly. Campbell fits that quote unquote want that they had with Patrick Queen.
He's just much more pro ready though too. Campbell's
right.
He's got the chops.
Right. So the rich get richer, and I'm okay with that though. I mean, we aren't going to face him. We aren't going to see him until late in January. So,
hey, Godlike Creations, appreciate you, man. Hey, is that a clothing line or what are you creating over there? But I like the name, very creative. Everybody talking about Mike Green, but no team took him in the first round. That's got to mean something. Yeah, not sure if you're aware of the off-field stuff, but it's the same charge twice, once in high school and once at the University of Virginia. Sexual assault, and that's how he ended up at Marshall. So he addressed it front on, came to the camera, said everything was false. I don't think he has any legal charges pending, but that's not stuff that we know about as fans. So yeah, just based off the tape, Mike Green should have been gone. But that's what we're getting there. You're very welcome. Very welcome. So that's what's going on with Mike Green. Hey. And then the other thing is with Godlike Creations, these injuries we don't know about. We have no idea. It just popped up today that Will Johnson's got a chronic knee. Josh Simmons could have been the number 1 left tackle in this draft, still on the board because he had tore his ACL this past season. So much that we don't know, guys.
Yeah,
there's no way he makes it. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. a team like Dallas, right? Like Sam Williams, if you remember back to that draft class, he had a lot of off the field concerns. I think injury wise, in terms of legality, a team like Dallas could absolutely be in play for Mike Green going into tomorrow. I think right here, Kansas City, there's no way. There really is to me no way they pass from Josh Simmons. Like they wanted that tackle prospect last year. They swung on it. They missed. Sumatia was just not at year one. And then you go to tomorrow, like these first couple of picks, like we're looking at like quarterback, running back, Cleveland especially. They could double up. Cleveland could go quarterback. Henderson at that 101 pick, and then they go Milrow the next pick, and then all of a sudden Cleveland looks like an absolute legit running threat. And then you have Tennessee, who could take Burden. You have Houston, who also take Burden. This is an interesting way to set up day two, but I think the biggest thing to me is Chicago has 2 picks back to back, almost back to back, pretty much.
And then early, New Orleans, right? New Orleans, it's early on, it's like 39 and 41 or something.
Yeah. And I think what they do there will determine how the 40s and 50s play out in the second round.
So going into tomorrow, Simply and Alec, what about the Ravens' needs? Like, okay, we got the safety out of the way. How do you see them going? Your second and third round pick. These are guys that you hope or project even to be starters, and guys that can contribute right away. You know what I mean? Like we might have to rely on them this year. So are you looking at corner? Are you looking at edge? What kind of position are you looking for? And then secondly, if you can speak on the possibility of the rumored Andrews trade actually happening.
Alex, can we go first?
Sure. I don't think Andrews is going to happen tomorrow. I don't know if it's going to happen at all at this point. But
there you go.
I do think tomorrow you're looking at edge and you're looking at guard potentially, but I don't know if it's going to have a fit. I think they're going to end up with an edge, and I do think D-line is going to get tackled as well. And that's what I would put my money on is edge and D-line. By the way, sorry, kind of crazy if you think about it, that the top 3 picks could very easily go all defense when I felt like the defense last year wasn't so bad. But I guess in the same breath, the offense wasn't so bad either. You're just trying to amplify strengths.
There he goes.
Josh Simmons off the board, and with that, hang on for just 1 second. The top 5 tackles all off the board. My top 3 interior offensive linemen all off the board. So that's 1/4, a quarter of the picks. 8 out of 32 picks were on offensive linemen. So if the Ravens want help on this offensive line, it's not looking good at this point. So when you guys are talking about need, if somebody else wants a guard or a tackle, they're probably going to grab one pretty quick because you know how that goes. Once somebody grabs one, everybody grabs one. But yeah, the edges went quick. I think it's funny if you look at the most popular positions, it was offensive line and defensive pass rushing.
It's crazy to me. I want to give a shout out to Jason who led this stream tonight. Look at this board. In his 32 picks on the left-hand side, Green, character concerns, Johnson with the medical we didn't learn about till today. So only 3 guys that didn't get picked in the first round. That's an incredible job, I think. I know obviously 2 of those guys were off the board with the quarterbacks, but still, I think we gotta give props, man. That was a really good job.
I think the one, thank you, man. I think the one I'm disappointed in is Ezeraku. Maybe that was my personal bias, but okay, if Will Johnson's hurt, I didn't know about that. Mike Green, yeah, but Eamon Worry and Ezeraku were misses for me. So yeah, I definitely have to take that on the chin.
But I don't think that's crazy though, man. Safety is a devalued position. We know that. It's how we got Hamilton. And then, Ezeraku, that I would say that is legitimately surprising, but also not crazy because we all thought at 27 it was a high chance pick. So, there are only 5 other people that could have picked him, So he could go early day 2. I think he will.
Yep.
I don't think you're going to look too silly.
Especially the Browns having two of those picks, I think they snatch them up pretty quick.
Yeah, for sure.
Quarterback, Ezeraku, and they call it a day.
Sounds reasonable to me.
Well, I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. A lot of traffic in the comments. A lot of people joining us on Purple from the Purple Rain Gang, Purple Rain podcast. It's just awesome. Football family over on Huddle It Up Films. Plenty of people you can see on the big board right now. Looks like about 20 people on the big board right now, even after the Ravens have picked. So a ton of support out there. I love it. And of course, thanks to you guys. You know it, man. Thanks.
Thank you, sir.
So tomorrow we will be back for day 2 of the draft. Start time is 7:00 instead of 8:00. So we will be ready to talk some prospects. We'll have more slides up here. We'll be updating the big board. Thank you to my football family. Love my football family. And with that, say goodbye, everybody.
Good night.
See ya.
See ya.